this Stampeders-Lions game today. Well, this could be the difference between hosting a playoff game and starting the postseason on the road. The battle for second place in the West gets going next. And all eyes will be on the quarterbacks. Nathan Rourke accounted for 5 touchdowns when these teams met just 2 weeks ago. The Lions have won 3 in a row. The Stamps have lost 3 in a row. But what a perfect place for Vernon Adams Jr. to get his mojo back. The former Lion making his first trip back to BC tonight. And we are looking forward to this one. Week number 18 coming to a close here with the Stamps and the Lions. Thanks for joining us, Laura Dyke and Enoch Mwamba, Paul Lapalisse, as well as Milt Stiegel. So in earlier action today, the first game of our doubleheader, it was the Ticats beating the Argos. So that means for the first time since 2019, the crossover has been clinched. Big news for these two teams facing off today. So Milt, we'll start with you. Your keys to the game here tonight.
It's Vernon Adams against his confidence. He talked about how his confidence has been shaken. He lost his confidence. And I think just about everyone in this world has come to a point where their confidence was shaken, but most folks don't come out and say it publicly, especially your starting quarterback. So we appreciate that. So I'm looking at how Vernon's going to react in this game if things aren't going his way. Will his confidence be shaken? Will he be able to get it back and make some big plays? So that's the matchup I'm looking at.
My matchup and what I'm looking for is I think his confidence hurt because of the BC Lions secondary a couple weeks ago. They should have had 4 interceptions, guys. Easily 4 interceptions in this game. TJ Lee, Jackson Finley, Ronald Kent, Gary Peters. You know, how do they handle, once again, because you know BC Lions are going to put up points. So Vernon's going to have to push the ball downfield. It'll be interesting to see this defense. They have given up a lot of big plays themselves, but can they get the takeaways that Vernon's
He's going to have to answer the call because Nathan Rourke is going to find the end zone at some point tonight, multiple times probably, but there's going to be a predator, and this guy right there, Matthew Betts, is going to be running and chasing him all night long. In the last just 4 games, he's had already 13 sacks. I mean, he's been breathing fire off the edge, and so Vernon Adams Jr. is going to have to be elusive tonight. He better come in and have his confidence through the roof because his team is going to need him tonight.
And it is welcome to Lorenzo Malden, who is brought over to the Stamps from the Ottawa Red Blacks. He's making his debut here tonight, speaking about defense, speaking about improving that pass rush. This should be a good one. Buckle up. The final game of Week 18 kicks off right after this.
Thank you, Lauren. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Vancouver in the 3rd annual Gravy Bowl between the Lions and the Calgary Stampeders. A month ago, it was hard to picture this as a second-place showdown, but the Lions have won 3 straight. Stampeders have lost 3 in a row, so here we are. And part of the streak, 2 weeks ago, Nathan Rourke had the best game of the season for him. Vernon Adams had his worst, and now he is back at BC Place for the first time since.
Yeah, over the last 3 games, 2 quarterbacks heading in the opposite directions. Vernon Adams admitted this week that his confidence has taken a bit of a hit over the last 3 games, and it's shown in the numbers. Although he also said the Stamps had their best week of practice all year. Nathan Rourke wants to keep the Lions on a roll. They are 3-0, and he is averaging over 300 yards passing per game this season.
Buck Pierce's Lions can clinch at least a crossover spot with a win and a chance at second place to come in at 8-7. At one point, Dave Dickinson's Stampeders were looking like the class of the league. They started at 5-1, but losses to Edmonton, BC, and Montreal now have them fighting for a home playoff date. They come in with a record of 8-6. And this showdown, whoever wins it would be in second place at this time. Still lots to be decided late in the CFL season. Stamps won the toss. They want the ball to get things started, and they do. It's Eric Brooks on the kickoff. And he is taken down shy of the 35. So Vernon Adams, you talked about his confidence shaken a couple of weeks ago against his old team. He gets the ball right away to get this thing started.
Yeah, the Calgary Stampeders won the coin toss, so they took the ball, want to get Vernon Adams out there. He mentioned to us about the confidence being shaken a little bit over the last 3 games. I think it was excellent that he was honest. I'm sure his teammates feel the same way, and they're going to rally around him in this one.
His running back, one of the leaders in the CFL, over 1,000, Diedrich Mills coming in. And he has the ball right away. It is Mills. He goes left side. Lions defense, which has been very solid in the last couple of weeks especially, and limit Mills there.
One of the unsung heroes of this offense has been Chris Fortin at center, the rookie 25-year-old, filled in for Bryce Bell after game 2 and has been solid at that center spot. And there's Diedrich Mills, 3rd in the league coming into this week in rushing, but it is a real close race between the top 3 guys.
Mills gained only inches. It's a second and essentially 10 yards for Adams in that Calgary offense. He will throw. Runs out of time. Taken down. Sacked. And that Lions defense has been doing a whole lot of that lately. Pressure coming in, and a 2-and-out for Calgary to start this game.
Well, they really have, and it's been led by Matthew Betts. And we'll get to Matthew Betts as this game goes on. But this was just straight 4-man pressure, and all 4 of them just did a nice job of not only denting the pocket, but crushing it. Forcing Vernon Adams to scramble around, then he got tripped up.
Jonah Tavai putting the pressure on up the middle. Bradley and I there as well. A punt of 52 yards at 7 McGee. Shy of his 40, crosses it, works it up to the 45. Daniel Joseph among the stamps in on the special teams tackles. And Nathan Rourke, mentioning that game he had 2 weeks ago, his best of the season against BC. Not as good last week, but he did what he had to do to get that victory over the Argos.
Yeah, and every game is a different journey. Every game can be at times a little bit of a roller coaster. Every quarterback will tell you that. But when you look at the numbers overall and the averages and the pace of over 5,000 yards in 16 games, he's been playing excellent football down the stretch.
He had some brilliant plays running, especially against the Argos last week in that 5-point victory to improve to 8-7. Coming in is Clarence Hicks on the sack right away. Moved in on Rourke. And Calgary's defense showing strong in that first play.
Yeah, it didn't look like Nathan had many options here. Like he wanted to throw a hitch screen, but it wasn't there. In other words, that there was a communication issue. He didn't have a receiver or a target, and Hicks was coming free off the edge.
And that's his 8th sack of the season to lead the way for the Stampeders. Dave Dickinson, well, they made the move to get Lorenzo Malton. They want to get more pressure without blitzing. Here we go now in a 2nd and 15, just a 3-man rush. Off to the right, it is caught. And right away, taken down. That's Javon Catoy, who's back in the BC lineup. Adrian Green, the ex-Lion, coming in and making sure he goes no further, and BC will have to punt.
Well, I know Nathan Rourke is excited to have Javon Catoy back in the lineup. I mean, you know, when you look at his numbers, they're pedestrian. They're about halfway to 1,000 yards for Catoy, but some very key 2nd down conversion catches. Didn't quite get there on that one, but they love having Catoy in the lineup. Plus, he's a great blocker in the run game.
Got it up to about the BC 50. Carl Meyer coming in to punt it away. 2 returners back for Calgary in Eric Brooks and Jalen Philpott. For the South African Meyer. And it heads Jalen Philpott's way. 50-yard punt. And he gets it up just across the 15-yard line deep in the Stampeders zone. And defense is strong so far for each team. Vernon Adams coming back on. 6-3 as a starter last year with the Lions and traded away to Calgary. 2nd time he gets a shot at his old team with the ball coming up in this scoreless time. Last week, the Stampeders lost in Montreal by 18. Dave Dickinson thought score should have been closer and saw some things he liked out of Vernon Adams in that game.
Yeah, you know, everyone's talking about the last 3 games and how Vernon Adams hasn't really looked like himself, as he admitted about the confidence issue. And again, I think that's refreshing for him to say that and be honest about it to his teammates. And Yet his coach thought he did some really good things in Montreal. They're 3-3 in the last 6, by the way.
Trying to avoid that 4-game losing streak here in BC. Play action, make a deep shot. He's got it too. To the Moose. The rookie, Damien Alford. Big catch for him. Had a great start in this first season. And less productive lately, but big production on that one pass.
Boy, I tell you what, this can get your confidence back in a hurry. This is just a straight go route, nothing fancy about it. And Damien Alford, that'll give a quarterback a little bit of confidence.
So one play and into the Lions zone, and then going left is Diedrich Mills. And a good carry up near another first down for Calgary. 11 yards for Mills.
Good speed to the outside for Diedrich Mills on first down, carrying a little of the momentum of the big play down the middle to Alford.
Interesting running back showdown here too. James Butler with they're two of the top 3. A.J. Ouellette for now leads now, moved ahead last night in Ottawa. And then you got Butler, and then Mills 26 yards behind Butler and has that pickup 11 yards. First down at the 25. Here comes Adams. Stampeders throwing. End zone. No, nobody home. Closest to it, Ronald Kent of BC falls incomplete and a second down.
Well, we talked about Matthew Betts and the role that he has been on. He leads the league in sacks with 13, but 9 of those 13 have happened in the last 3 games. Just on some kind of roll. Like, since they've been counting him, no one has ever done that. Micah Alway leads the league in tackles over 100, and Jackson Finley gets his second start at safety. Had an interception in his first last week.
2nd and 10. Calgary at the BC 25. Still early on here. Flushed out to the right, looking to take off. Gets to the 20, cuts it back inside. Ball did come out, but out of bounds. And little discussion here. The referee is Andre Prue. The argument would be that the Lions thinking they might have touched the ball before it went out of bounds, which would give it to BC.
Well, the strip or the player that hits it out of Vernon Adams' hand, that doesn't constitute possession going out of bounds unless he did it on his own and it was touched afterward. It'd have to have been touched after it was knocked out of his hands.
But it is still Calgary's ball. Their field goal unit is coming on now. There you see it go out, but no Lion, you're right.
Yeah.
Aside from being forced out, did touch the ball as BC tried to argue. So no harm, no first down, but no harm for Calgary. They do have the chance after the 5-yard pickup to get the first points on the board in this game. And it's Rene Paredes. 2 veteran kickers in this game, too. Sean White for BC and Paredes. 27 of 34 on the year and well within his range. This will just come from 27 yards away. He's 2 for 2 last week. He's 1 for 1 in this game. And the Stampeders in a big showdown for second place in the West have taken the early lead on Nathan Rourke's BC Lions. Rourke about to get the ball back now on a beautiful day in Vancouver. Nathan Rourke. And what a great game he had against the Stampeders 2 weeks ago, Suits.
Just unbelievable. I mean, leads the league in rushing for quarterbacks, including a guy like Dustin Crum, who primary runner first and passer second, but big game in Calgary. Over 300 yards passing, no interceptions.
They go to work now. I mentioned James Butler before, who takes it out for 10 yards on his first carry. Second leading rusher behind Ouellette heading into this game.
They're going to have to make a change with Jarrell Broxton out at tackle. So Corey Woodruff gets bumped out to tackle from guard, and Brandon Yates, the rookie, 24 years old, out of Western Virginia, will start at guard. Keon Hatcher leads the league coming into this week, and Justin McInnis is in the top 5. He's ranked 4th. Big second half of the season for McInnis.
He's really come on in the second half. Here's Rourke to throw on the first down. Pontoon. Keon Hatcher. You just talked about it. The CFL's leading receiver. 15 more yards to the total of Hatcher.
Well, his pace is flirting with the Lions record held by Geroy Simon back in 2006 at 1,856 yards that year. Hatcher's on pace for 1,685. I don't know if he can make it up the distance, but he is having himself a year.
Last week against the Argos, 4 catches for 87 yards, including a 58-yarder in that game. Then a fang. Rourke keeps it. Charles Wiley. He had him wrapped up until he got some help from Markel Lee, the middle linebacker, coming in to finish things off. But it's Wiley, the one who got his hands on Nathan Rourke and takes him down.
Well, I'm going to give an assist here to the secondary for the Calgary Stampeders, because it looked like Rourke, after the play action, he had to deal with Wiley, who did not bite on that inside play action. There was no hot route available. The DBs got up and nice and snug, and Markel Lee gets a chance to get back in the lineup after missing most of the season due to injury.
Halfway through the first quarter, and Rourke has been sacked twice. Second and long now. Sets up a screen, and it is read right away. Catoy had it. Coming in, Derek Moncrief to sit him down for another loss. And BC had something going, and suddenly the Lions will have to punt.
Trying to alleviate some of the early pressure. You mentioned the 2 sacks on Nathan Rourke. So to relieve some early pressure, go a screen. But that screen is sniffed out quickly by Derek Moncrief, veteran in the league. Game time decision, and Calgary's lucky to have him because his stat line is jam-packed. Doesn't matter what category you talk about. Derek Moncrief has been involved in it.
He's been banged up a little bit, as you talked about, game time decision, but you got Markel Lee, the addition in the middle. Adam Bighill, a healthy scratch in this game. Lee back in the lineup. And the punt, a 35-yarder for Carl Meyer, and the return, Jalen Philpott again, just shy of the 30. Calgary gets the ball back. Last time they had it, a big play, set up a field goal. And the defense doing its job so far. The veteran Moncrief with that play. From 2022 to last season, Vernon Adams Jr. called BC Place home. His return now for the first time since he was traded away to the Stampeders. With more on this return, let's go to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, we asked him about the emotions of coming back here to BC Place, and he said, you know, I went through those emotions a couple of weeks ago when I faced BC in Calgary. He says they kicked our butts in that game, and we've got to be better in this one. Even Dave Dickinson said VA might have gotten a little bit into his own head in that game, especially with some early struggles. He kind of let that continue. As for VA's relationship with Nathan Rourke, the two men are still close. They text occasionally in season, more so in the offseason. They checked in with each other when they arrived at the stadium here today. VA believes he has had one of his best practice weeks in months in this past week, so he thinks he's ready for this game. And he says the biggest thing he's changed is he's got his voice back. There's been times in recent weeks, whether it's on the sidelines during a game or in the locker room during the practice week, that he's just been quiet. Reggie Bagleton said to him, V, we need you to be you. That's loud, that's energetic, and he says he's made an effort to be that guy again this week.
And Farhan has the ball now and dishes it off to Jalen Philpott, who gets up close to the 35. But to follow up on what Farhan's talking about, Vernon Adams, 6-3 last year as a starter. The one time he had the job exclusively his in 2023 when Nathan Rourke was away, threw for over 4,700 yards. He was the team nominee, his most outstanding player.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, when Nathan Rourke came back, and at that time, Vernon Adams was injured, so wasn't available to play. So Rourke immediately played, and then I think many of, with the season that VA was having in BC, that they thought he would be back as the starter and wasn't.
Empty backfield now on the second down and 6. It is caught. It's Tevin Jones with his first catch in this game. He is shy of the 40, which is where he needed to get for a first down. So we get a 3rd and short coming up as he gets it up around the 39.
It's a full yard, but it's just a yard, so Dave Dickinson won't hesitate. Go with short yardage here. But to Farhan's point about VA's start in that game against Vancouver, where his coach admitted he thought probably in his own head a little bit.
The ball carrier was down with contact at the 36-yard line.
Oh,
the ball will be placed at the 36-yard line, and it will be third down. Yes.
So Tevin Jones, when he caught that ball, spun. It looked like he put his hand down. I think that's what Dave Dickinson is arguing, that it was just his hand that he put down. Let's take a look, because it changes the spot and the decision. They're saying that knee touched, because the hand doesn't count as down by contact.
He threw it back. The ball will be placed. The ball will be placed at the 38-yard line.
Well, that's 2 instead of 1, and they're going to punt.
They placed it at the 38 initially, saying the 36 for Tevin Jones. Bottom line is, punting unit is out. Mark Bassett, the CFL leader in net punting average at 42 yards. Now, wait a minute. See Adams in the offense coming back on. So there was, at first it looked like a 3rd and 1, and then they were saying 36, which would make it a 3rd and 4, and then putting it at the 38. Close enough for Dickinson to reconsider?
Well, okay, but this is 2 yards, unless Vernon Adams is in there to solely try and draw the defense offside and get a free first down.
Well, here we go. Quincy Vaughn in for short yardage. It looks like they're doing just that. Can they draw him off? BC must see this coming. Holding tight. No snap. Play clock. Oh, we got movement. Zach Williams on the left and Jalen Philpott.
Illegal procedure. Calgary number 67. 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
To your point, that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, and Vernon Adams stayed on the field. He was just a wide receiver in that formation to try and deliberately draw the defense offside, get a free first down, and they did it with that quick substitution too. It's try to create a little, some speed to the whole process. Let's get that offense back out there. We're going short yardage. Here we go. First sound, all of that stuff, hoping that the defensive line will get jittery, jump offside, and get a free first down. Didn't happen.
Instead, punting unit back on for Bassett now with the 5 yards further back, standing inside his 20 to get it away to 7 McGee. He's heading off to his left, right at the 25 to take it. 7 McGee for a 53-yard punt. Kyle Wilson on special teams to take him down around the 32. Slower start for Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions offense compared to a couple of weeks ago when they led after 21-0. Down by 3 at BC Place. Last week, Nathan Rourke became the first Canadian quarterback in history to go over 4,000 yards for a season. Here he stands. Now, Russ Jackson, the legend, the old Ottawa Rough Rider, still well ahead, but Rourke passed Jerry Detilio, former Montreal Alouette, to go over 10,000 yards and second all time.
Yeah, that single season record for passing in a season, different era, but yeah, I think we're going to look at some big time records. In fact, with the pace that Rourke is on, 16 games, he's on pace for over 5,000 yards this year. If that was 18 games, it would be 5,700 yards. And you start getting into that area, you're looking at possibly a 6,000-yard season. Let's look at the Calgary Stampeders starting lineup, and let's start with Lorenzo Malden. Traded this week, is in the lineup, and he is going to be fired up to get something done tonight. Markel Lee gets back after a long stint on the injury list, and Adrian Green, a couple weeks ago in that game against BC, was his first game back from injury, still leads the team in interceptions.
It's a 2nd and long now after a 1-yard pickup by James Butler for BC. 19 net offensive yards so far this game for the Lions. That's it. Throwing, that'll add to the total there. A catch for a first down. A good one for Javon Catoy. Mentioned his back after missing last week.
That's what I mean about some key catches for Javon Catoy. I mean, 500 yards. I think, we're scratching the surface on what he can be, and he can be a 1,000-yard receiver. But there has been some moments in games where Catoy comes up with a catch like this. Offense hasn't got any traction so far in this game tonight. They need a first down. They need a new set. Catoy comes up with the good catch.
Get it up to the 47 of BC. down by 3. First quarter. And throwing again. And you see Jacob Roberts throwing the intended target down long after the ball hit the turf. Crowd didn't like that. But first incompletion for Nathan Rourke in this day.
But you start flirting with 6,000 yards in an 18-game season. There's not many that have accomplished that in the league. Doug Flutie did it twice. Saw him in the Argo game before ours. And who else did it? Anthony Calvillo did it.
Kent Austin?
Kent Austin did it one year. I think there's only 4 of them.
Doug Flutie's, by the way, was with the BC Lions in 1991 when he threw over 6,000. Again, he guts. And gets another one to Keon Hatcher, another first down as BC's quickly on the move now in this third possession of the game.
Yeah, he had to wait deep into this route to get this out of there. The pressure in the pocket was starting to collapse, and Rourke just in time releases that and leads his receiver into the middle of the field. 18-yard gain and a new set of downs.
For Keon Hatcher. And down to the 45 of Calgary. What a season number 4 is having in BC. Rourke in a 4-man rush over the middle. It is caught. Shorter pass now and down to the 40.
Keon Hatcher mentioned his pace and how close he might get to G. Simon's record year for the Lions in 2006. But you know, I don't know. He'd have to have some monster games down the stretch here to get to that. But what a season.
A whole lot of G. Simon on that board, isn't there? Under the Calgary 40 now in a 2nd and 5. Hatcher out left again. 3 receivers to the right. Looking left. Looking deep. Caught. Touchdown, BC. Justin McInnes, who's really been on a tear in the second half of the season, coming in 4th in receiving yards, adds to his total in a big way.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time before Justin McInnes was going to find his game. Slow start to the season, still working on chemistry with Nathan Rourke. Getting back, he never played with Rourke back in 22. He wasn't here then, but he gets on a roll here in the second half of the season, averaging about 100 yards a game, just shy of it in the second half of the year, and a big corner route for a touchdown on that one.
Well, I mentioned Lions came into this possession with only 18 net yards in the previous 2, and making up for that in a big way. 6 plays, 76 yards, a point after by Sean White. There's BC now in the lead after that touchdown. Rourke to McInnes.
You're going to see nice little corner route right here where, because the safety's to the field up here in Damon Webb, this is a man concept with no help. So inside position is where you have to be as a defensive back. And Rourke and McInnes take advantage of that. Tyler Richardson trying to catch up, but when you're taking that inside leverage and that ball's thrown that perfectly, not a lot you can do about it. That's not terrible coverage.
What a 1-2 punch. I mean, there's more than just the 2 receivers, of course, but Hatcher, McInnes, both in the top 4 in the CFL receiving yardage. McInnes led the way last year, had a slow start. We talked about that. He's really come on in the last few
every time. Every time. We're going to get him cut, too.
From Quebec, Justin McInnes, his 7th touchdown reception. And the Stampeders now trail by 4. Eric Brooks back for this one, bobbles the ball, picks it up at the 20, and here he goes. 30, 35, tripped up as he almost had something big going on, but a flag comes out as well as he got it up across the Calgary 40.
This is usually an illegal block. We'll see what the refs come up with here, but a little bit of a battle with the football. Eric Brooks had that big kick return on Labor Day.
Holding Calgary number 77. 10-yard penalty and a first down Calgary.
If you're going to have your first big kick return for a touchdown for a team, Labor Day's a great time to do it in the regular season.
for Eric Brooks. Second year at Fresno State. Taking over those kick return duties. Killon Thomas got the flag, so that pushes them back to their 10. Now down 7-3, late. There's seconds to go until quarter time. Diedrich Mills, right side, finds room, still going up to the 28, and a first down for Calgary to buy them a lot of space and an 18-yard pickup for Mills.
Yeah, a couple of things that this looks like it's game planning for Dave Dickinson. This is the second time that a play like this has been successful in the run game for Calgary. Bouncing outside, getting the edge, getting into the linebacking core with Dom Rhymes that time locked up on Micah Alway, so he couldn't get and scrape to that. But 2 off-tackle runs that have been successful for Calgary. We'll go back to it.
Averaging 10 yards a carry, 3 for 30. Mills, pressure! And for the second time in the afternoon, the Lions have a sack of Vernon Adams Jr. Deontay Williams coming in.
Yeah, comes off the edge, Rod, Deontay Williams, but it was the push up the middle that secured the sack, because that's where VA wanted to escape.
Pressure from both defenses. 2 sacks each in the first quarter, but there's your biggest play. Nathan Rourke, Justin McInnes, and the Lions through the first 15 have the 7-3 lead. 7-3 BC through one quarter. Bear in mind those suits. A couple of weeks ago, the Stampeders got in an early hole down 21 thanks to turnovers, but defensively playing better in this game.
Oh, I don't think there's any question that their defense has picked it up a notch. I mean, Markel Lee coming back at the middle linebacker spot helps, getting Lorenzo Malden in that trade to fill in for Flo Arimolade. That was a big hit when they lost him to an Achilles injury. So clearly this has been the best quarter in the last few games for this Calgary defense, and that's why Nathan Rourke, I should say, struggled early in the quarter trying to get any traction on offense.
Stampeders did pick up a couple of sacks in that first quarter. They have the ball now after the touchdown for that man, Justin McInnes, 40-yarder.
That 98 yards, there was one drive for BC in the first quarter.
And they have that 4-point lead. Quarter number 2, here is Vernon Adams. Trying to dump it off, it looks like it's intercepted.
No way.
Jonah Tavai was lying down.
Did he catch it?
And it is BC football. Adams coughed it up. That didn't go where he wanted it to, and it fell into the lap of Jonah Tavai lying down.
Let's take a look. Just 3-man pressure. Tavai's the middle guy. He's just kind of spying this and hanging out in that area, and I think he does dive and get to it. Now, the lineup says he's 5'10", 283, and I don't believe it.
The previous play is under review by the replay center.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't count. I don't believe he's 283. I think he's over 3 bills for sure. And he dove like with the skill of a wide receiver there to at least make this close. Does he get a pick?
Well,
or is the replay center gonna?
That's a catch.
You can see it. I mean, it did a great job. You're right. Lunging for the ball, but you could see it hit the turf as well. It's a replay center say.
Upon review by the replay center, the ruling on the field is overturned to an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
So Adams and the Stampeders catch a break there. They still have to send it BC's way, but they get the chance to punt it with Mark Vassett standing at his 6.
Yeah, a call from the replay center that changes field position in a big way because that, unless you get a big return here.
Big Jonah Tavai nearly had himself a pick. He still thinks he did. 7 McGee back inside the 35 after a 57-yard punt from Vassett. Good coverage on teams as well. Some Maurice Blackwell in the special teams tackle for the Stampeders.
So I mentioned Lorenzo Malden, who was traded this week for a 4th-round pick in next year's draft. And you go back to that 22 season, here's what he's capable of. which was a season where he was the Defensive Player of the Year. 17 quarterback sacks on the season, and just a beast in the pass rush department. And we had a great talk with him this week, and talk about a guy. I don't think I remember a guy this motivated to make his mark on his new team.
Well,
and mixed emotions when he got traded.
He has a lot of friends who just naming so many of the names from the Red Blacks that he leaves behind, and that was tough for him.
Yeah, listen, I can totally get it from Calgary's point of view. You're getting a premier pass rusher. You're getting an excellent football player in a time where you lose Flo Arimolade. Huge for Calgary Stampeders to get it. I'm still trying to get my head around Ottawa's motivation to trade him. You know, and he's going to become a free agent at the end of the year. Maybe they thought that they couldn't keep him anyway, so might as well get something, but I don't know. That's a premier player, premier pass rusher.
2nd and 7, BC. Working with a 4-point lead. And that is caught by James Butler. Gives a rough ride out of bounds by Jacob Roberts right at the first down marker.
Last time these two teams played 2 weeks ago, Butler was taking the game off due to injury. Xander Horvath got that one, and wow, did he have a game.
Butler benched the leading rusher in the league up until A.J. Ouellette passed him last night. So 49-yard difference coming in. Butler rushing, and Horvath
in there with him.
Yeah, he had 152 in that touchdown run. 70 yards at McMahon a couple of weeks ago. It was enough for a first down. Butler running now. And not much there. Stiffen up inside. The Stampeder defense just 2 yards there for James Butler.
Well, I think interesting. See how we mentioned the mixed emotions for Lorenzo Malden when he got traded, and talked about how much he loved Ottawa.
I was not expecting it. Of course, with any other trade, most people aren't expecting it, but it's one of those things where I felt like I did something wrong, but then started to realize I've been in the game long enough to realize that it's just part of the game, and I just have to adjust. So.
And what a move by Stanley Berryhill on Jacob Roberts. Little spinorama, and picks up another first down for BC.
Well, one of the keys to this play is how quickly Nathan Rourke recognizes the coverage, gets it out of his hands so that Berryhill can make this move. But wow, I mean, Roberts, one of the great tacklers in the game this year, and he just turned him inside out there. Whoop! By the way, that was the first time I think in my television career I've ever thrown to a clip.
I was going to say, good throw. Good throws happening all over the place here.
Like, okay.
I don't need to say anything anymore.
No, we need you, man.
First down, Calgary 49. Rourke has time. He checks it down to Butler, who breaks a tackle and breaks loose. Kyle Wilson finally railroads him out. But another good pickup, and here comes BC. Another first down after a 17-yard catch and run, Butler.
Yeah, and these are earned misses. The one to Berryhill and last down, this one here to James Butler through the progression. These are earned misses because those are good tacklers that they're making miss. That was Derek Moncrief, who just couldn't get the right angle, almost stumbled a little bit as he was getting to Butler.
Last possession, BC, resulted in a touchdown late in the first quarter. Here they are on the second, and they're down to the Calgary 32. Impressive looking drive is Rourke. Rolls right, throws, it's caught inside the 22. A lot of pepper on that throw. Caught by Javon Catoy.
That's what I mean. This is what I'm talking about with Catoy. This is a tough catch. He makes it look routine. Inside, he's got coverage from Adrian Green right on his back. Has to adjust and get in there and stab it.
Catoy's been targeted 5 times. He has 4 catches, 33 yards. That was a nice snag. Now they're inside the 20. First trip into the red zone. BC. It was a longer play that led to their one touchdown in this game so far to McInnes. Rourke Butler, right side, takes a hit, pushes ahead. It's Kyle Wilson on the tackle. Initial contact and a couple more yards. It's 5 yards for Butler.
This is about the fourth play that looks exactly the same in 3 different plays off of it. You're going to see Keon Hatcher going across the formation. They can fake it to him or give it to him on a fly sweep, or give it to Butler, or have neither of those 2 players get it at the line of scrimmage and get Nathan Rourke on a rollout. So it looks the same to the defense, but 3 different things happening at once.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Inside the 15. 8th play of this drive for Rourke. To throw. Has time. End zone. Touchdown. Touchdown BC. And it is Javon Catoy having a great return to the Lions as they add to their lead.
Another name that this week for BC was on the injured list most of the week of practice. And we asked Coach about Catoy and whether or not he'd be available. He said, we're still not sure, and that was just a couple of days ago. But, yeah, they're happy to have him back. And all of the traction on offense from the last drive of the first quarter till now happened on that first Catoy catch for a first down, led to a Hatcher catch, and then the McInnes touchdown, and now this offense is rolling.
Oh, yeah, Rourke's keeping him busy, too. Javon Catoy, 5 catches, 47 yards, and that touchdown, number 6 on the season for him. The point after from White. And BC, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, opening this one up against the Calgary Stampeders. Rourke, Catoy, 14-3, BC.
Shout out Jaddy. Good job today on the win. Shout out Samad. I'm thinking about shooting prayers up. And that's another donation to World Vision, baby. Let's go.
Donation to World Vision there on an inside little change motion. He's going to run it out and then a wheel down the sideline, or an out and up, and nonchalantly reaches for that ball. Watch how he waits till the last second to reach out to give Jaden Grant the heads up that the ball is about to arrive.
Donation to the scoreboard for the Lions, too. 8-play drive, 71 yards. Catoy for missing 2 games with an ankle injury, back in a big way in this game. So Stampeder football, you talked about the Calgary defense that have been doing a very good job, but being tested now. Adams coming back on now. Calgary football, but in a 14-3 hole, second quarter. Have to think a big game for Vernon Adams Jr. back here at BC Place for the first time this season. He's 3 for 5, 66 yards. And yeah, he had a very solid start, along with the Stampeders, up to a 5-1 start, but slumping lately.
Well, you take a look at his first 6 games, and 5-1. And he was averaging around 287, almost 300 yards a game passing. In the last 6, that's dropped to 212. But they're still 3-3.
Yeah.
So, you know, they win on Labor Day. And since then, yeah, they've gone through this 3-game losing skid. And that's where the numbers have drastically dropped for VA. And that's what he was talking about this week. And that he has to just play better. Give his playmakers a chance. But the guy that they've got to activate is Dom Rhymes. I'm just a little bit in Montreal last week, but Dom Rhymes is better than his numbers are showing right now.
And he has been their leading receiver, so yeah, a lot having to get it going. 4-yard pickup for Jalen Philpott, 2nd and 6 for Adams. The throw again. Off to the left. Oh, nearly a great catch by Philpott, but Jackson Finley, the rookie out of Western, with good coverage there to make sure he can't hang on, and it's the second 2-and-out straight for the Stampeder.
It's a great play by Jackson Finley, who's got a ball for the trophy case from last week's interception. Finley's going to end up to the right of your screen, just not giving up on this play, because Philpott had it. He had it with both hands. But Finley dives, keeps with it, keeps pushing, and before he's maintained control, the ball is punched out.
Big pickup in the draft for the Lions to get Jackson Finley. 55-yard punt, 7 McGee Well, he backtracks, trying to find some room, and finally does go down. Again, Blackwell on the special teams tackle back at the 25 for the Lions to take over. Slow start for the BC offense, but their last two possessions have resulted in touchdowns and a 14-3 BC lead halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, I mentioned that Calgary defense playing better in the first quarter until that final drive. And now the first drive for BC to start the second quarter, again, another touchdown drive. But that was another thing that Coach Dickinson talked to us about. Defense got to make those plays they were making early.
Throwing quickly on first down, and no, incomplete. Adrian Green there in on Justin McInnes.
Yeah, plays like that. You know, and when we talked to Coach Dickinson about his defense and how early on in the season, a lot of young faces, a lot of new looks, Coach Slowick getting them all together. They were not only taking the ball away back then, but they were scoring. I mean, they had some pick sixes, and you know, Moncrief against Winnipeg had one. 10 tackles for Lee in his very first game of the season. They were flying around making plays, and they haven't over the last 3 losses. 0 takeaways.
Rourke again over the middle. Well, 0 takeaways. Jaden Grant had a shot there on that deeper ball over the middle, and a good knockdown for Grant and the Stampeders, forcing the Lions to punt.
Yeah, you know, and I would suggest it's going to happen right up here. I would suggest that early in the season, Grant may have tried to intercept that pass. He may have just, in this drop back, he reads it well. He sees that inside slant. He knows it's coming. He's timed it up. And in the first 7 games of the year, they were taking that back. This year, he knocks it down. Still a great play, but it's the back half, and they're trying to get their legs underneath them again, and he goes for the knockdown and gets it.
And they force a 2-and-out for the Lions. So to get the ball back here in the second quarter, down by 11. Eric Brooks chased off to his right, gets it at the 35, and he weaves his way up to the 40 after a 53-yard punt by Mark Bassett. Now they needed some kind of stand by their defense after giving up 2 touchdown drives, and they got it on that one. Jaden Grant, the knockdown, 14-3. Lions lead it. So far, Nathan Rourke's Lions have the lead, and Vernon Adams Jr. and the Stampeders. But this little duel is going on off the field as well, Farhan.
Yeah, you guys have missed the boat here. The real big story is not the Lions and Stampeders competing for second place in the West or the Gravy Bowl. It's the Kids Sport Quarterback Challenge. Nathan Rourke and Vernon Adams are challenging their fans around the country, primarily in their respective markets, Kids Sport BC and Kids Sport Calgary. Which fan base can support and donate more? Now, full transparency, guys, I've been a Kids Sport ambassador for about 15 years, and it's a program that really lends itself to lower income and at-risk kids for football players. It does help provide registration fees for all athletes in all sports, but these two have decided to get involved as ambassadors. They're going to continue their involvement. Right now, Team Rourke is leading, but there is still time for Team Adams to get back into this thing. So donate to get kids off the sidelines and into the game.
Let's go, Calgary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Behind your guy.
Jalen Philpott in that first down Stamps, but to Farhan's point, hey, opposing teams today, but that's great to see them on the same team for Kids Sport.
Well, yeah, and you know, when you go back to last year and how it all went down when Rourke returned and all the discussions between the two quarterbacks and how it might have divided the room and all those things, the quarterback room was solid.
Yeah.
And they're great friends, as Farhan has mentioned. Total mutual respect between the two.
That goes down in the books as a pass and completion there to Philpott. As does this, of course, to Mills. And the tough running back takes a pop from TJ Lee and out of bounds, but another first down, back-to-back first down, 16-yard pickup for Calgary.
And we asked Vernon about the relationship, and he went as far as to say he has never seen in his time in pro football a guy study more than Nathan Rourke studies and be more involved in learning and trying to get better. He said, I've never seen it at that level. And that's the mutual respect that the two guys have.
And that's coming from a guy who works pretty hard himself, too.
No question.
In VA. That's often said about Nathan Rourke, the hard work. Well, Eric Brooks has that one and manages just to keep his feet enough to get it inside the 40. He got A little tripped up there, but still has that pickup on first down of 4 yards.
Some very good play calling here for Vernon Adams to get back and comfortable again after that big deep ball early in the first quarter to Damon Alford. It looked like they were on a roll there, got things going, ended up settling for a field goal, but got another drive going here.
And they are 0 for 5 on second down. Big second down now, and 6 coming up here for Calgary. And Vernon Adams throw again quickly underneath, caught. And they want to make sure that Brooks is down, and that's close to another first down for the Stampeders.
That was a tougher catch than it looked either as well for Eric Brooks. I talk about that Katoy catch early in the going the opposite direction, but it was almost like Vernon Adams threw him open low and inside so that Deontay Williams couldn't get there.
Just shy. It's third down and inches for Calgary. Quincy Vaughn, short yardage quarterback in for the Stampeders. Right side should have enough for another Calgary first down as they work their way closer to the BC 30.
Saw before this drive began, Vernon Adams. You remember when he starts flapping his arms back and forth? It's like he's warming up, loosening up, and it seems to me that every time he does that, his offense, whatever team he's been on, puts a drive together.
There you go.
I don't know if it's staying loose, getting focused, field goal range now, and looking for more.
He's been doing it. We got like early movement. And that's nearly caught by Tevin Jones and over Robert Carter, but no, incomplete. Quick on the far side of the line for BC.
Threw it where he had to be. You see Robert Carter's positioning. He's underneath. If that's low and to the inside shoulder, it's going the other way. So Adams had to put it outside shoulder to where only his receiver had a shot. Carter couldn't get it. Remember, Carter only needs one hand.
Yeah, we've seen that right in this building against Hamilton back in the summertime. At the 31 now, second down and 10. Adams under pressure again, and he is sacked for the third time in this game. Matthew Betts is in the mix. There were several. That's the CFL sacks leader, Matthew Betts, who's had 9 in the past 3 weeks coming into this game, which is, as far as they document, back to 1995, a CFL record. Kind of a group sack for the BC Lions that time, and Vernon Adams looks like they're going to settle for a chance at 3. Adams under pressure. The Lions don't let him get away.
We dropped the ball because it's the gravy bowl. We don't have turkey, we don't have stuffing, we don't have apple pie. But we do have us coming up at halftime. We've got 4 turkeys here on the set.
Wow. Better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
Well played,
That's a good
Laura.
one. Nice.
Well
Laura.
played.
Nice.
Panel coming up. 4 turkeys in the half. I can say it because Laura did. There's a field goal try, Rene Paredes. After it was Matthew Betts getting credit for the sack of Vernon Adams Jr., league leading 14 now in the year. There's Betts. What a run he's been on.
Yeah, Mike Benavides, the defensive coordinator, been moving him around, so he's not just coming off the edge, and this time he's right down Main Street. So Betts in that 2-point stance. He's going one-on-one with the guard on the inside to Zach Williams, and he ends up running into Williams, Dedrick Mills, and then falls under to get credit for his 14th on the season and 10 in the last 3.5 games.
It's amazing. 3 last week. Couple 2 weeks ago, he had 4 back here against Ottawa 3 weeks ago, and then 1 to 10 in 4 games and counting. James Butler late in the first half. Butler trying to reclaim top spot in the rushing lead, getting a little bit closer there. 6 more yards. The leader right now, A.J. Ouellette of Saskatchewan.
One game that Betts had 4. Only a couple of Lions that have ever done that.
Yeah.
14 on the season, and Adiemi Berglund at 11 chasing him. 2 Canadians leading the league.
If that holds up, never been 2 Canadians. Canadians 1-2. The sack leaderboard, CFL season. Pressure. Speaking of sacks, Clarence Hicks has his 2nd sack of this game. He's the sacks leader for the Stampeders and gets to Nathan Rourke again. And yeah, look at the sack totals for both sides. And 3rd 2 and out for the Lions, who are cooling off a bit after those back-to-back touchdown drives.
A little bit of a stunt here from Hicks on top of the line there, and he comes from a defensive end and comes back inside and fills an inside gap.
So Clarence Hicks moving up the sack leaderboard now in his 2nd year out of Texas San Antonio. He has 9 on the season.
Wants to get in the race. We just showed the graphic.
Well, that's not going to hurt. Off the punt. There's Brooks. 2:02 in the clock until halftime. Stampeders hoping to close this gap. Currently at 8 points right now for BC.
Oh, partner. Way to go.
Something for justice gets dirty.
Yeah, I hear you. This guy can get down dirty in the line of scrimmage. And, you know, we talked to Coach Benavides this week about his play and him talking about how he feels at times, and did, as one of our colleagues, that sacks are overrated.
Yeah, Benny always said that.
Yeah.
So Adams now, 1st and 10. Oh, the sack department. Add one more. That's Bradley Anai, new to the Lions. Jonah Tavai in there, excuse me, as well.
Yeah, I think Tavai's, he's inside. Anai's right there. I just arrowed him. So let's see. It's a race to Vernon Adams, who over the 2nd quarter almost at times looks like he's looking at the rush. And that's going to get a quarterback in trouble.
So, excuse me, Jonah Tavai, 99, nearly had a pick earlier this half. That's his 2nd sack of this game. He's up to 5. 3-man rush, swinging it out quickly. Lots of space ahead for Jalen Philpott on that 2nd down at 18. So the Lions D backed up a bit, and Philpott not nearly enough. Be a 3rd down coming up here.
Yeah, this is an interesting formation on 2nd and long that they just rushed with 3, but one of them is Matthew Betts, who his motor never stops. I mean, and this is when we talk about the fact that maybe quarterback sacks are overrated at times, and sure, whatever. I think they're obviously important, just like tackles for losses, same thing. But this guy on the backside of plays never stops. And when he wasn't getting sacks early in the season, he was still getting tons of pressures.
The punt by Bassett for 7. McGee lets it hop, takes it at the 26. 49-yard punt, out of bounds he goes.
While the ball was in flight, holding, BC number 46, a 10-yard penalty will be enforced from where the ball was caught. Back 10 yards and a first.
So that's BC's first penalty. Want to follow up a thought, though. You're talking about Mike Benavides and sacks. Yeah. We're going to be heading to the studio soon. When Benny was in our studio, he used to say that. Sacks are overrated. But he also would consider great sack totals a sign that the defense is doing something else really well. And you talked about other things that Matthew Betts, that generally the way he plays, that the sacks are bound to follow.
Yeah, I mean, he'll run down running plays from the backside. And with that kind of effort, first of all, it's a great way to lead by example. But with that kind of effort, then the sacks will come. The stats will come.
And he's currently the sacks leader, Matthew Betts. Mike Benavides was defensive coach in Ottawa in 2022 when the CFL sacks leader was Lorenzo Molden.
Yes.
Who's making his debut with Calgary today. On a running play, BC ball, just over a minute to go until halftime. They're still up 14-8. See the helmet come off the head of Markel Lee and making life tough there. There's Malden out there, and must be a strange feeling. Still wearing red, but it's no longer red and white at the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, after last night and the playoff hunt, when you consider that, I'm sure Malden goes, oh, okay. The old team is out of it.
Feeling for some friends, I'm sure. But he still has a chance at a playoff spot. The Red Blacks do not after their loss to Saskatchewan last night. 2nd and 7. BC 18. Nathan Rourke. Deeper ball to the left. And it's caught up with a 50. Ain't never hard into the act with his first catch of the afternoon, and a 32-yard gain, 44 seconds on the clock as they hurry up.
They're going tempo, so we got to go. This is a corner route from Eberhardt.
Nathan Rourke close to 200 yards passing in this one. Late first half. Throwing again and caught. Adding to those totals. Javon Catoy having quite a game so far as Rourke's over 200. Another good pickup and a first down. 16 more yards for Catoy, who has a touchdown in this game.
Got James Butler out here at wide receiver.
Half a minute to go till halftime. To the right. Caught out of bounds. Butler. And another BC first down. Or just shy, excuse me, right at the marker. They're going to put him down for a 9-yard gain.
Real quick, easy pitch and catch and good read for Rourke when they put their tailback out at wide receiver to see how the defense reacts.
Short yardage, Rourke in. Runs well, first down. Down to the 32 of Calgary.
Because sorry, Rod, but if when James Butler goes out to wide receiver like he did there, if a linebacker goes with him, then Rourke knows he's got man. He's probably looking for one of his Keon Hatcher, McInnes type players. If they don't, they throw him out in the soft spot.
Quickly throwing again. 5 touchdown BC. Keon Hatcher. Oh, the Lions work fast. And they get into the end zone again before halftime.
How about this drive for Nathan Rourke? Tempo drive, knows the time's running out in the half. He's got to go the length of the field, accurate on his passes, good play calling to recognize pre-snap what the defense is doing. And then Hatcher breaks a tackle to take it to the house.
Talked about Rourke having his best game of the season against the Stampeders a couple of weeks ago when he went 20 of 24, 331, 2 touchdown passes, no picks, scored one on the ground as well. Well, Nathan Rourke in this first half is 15 of 18 for 216, 2 touchdown passes, no picks.
So on pace for a 400-yard game, and all of a sudden they've figured out this Calgary defense that had a good first quarter. And I know if you look at the scoreboard right now, you'd go, what? I'm going to have to rewind that and take a look at that first quarter, because this offense for BC took some time to get some traction in this game tonight.
And I misspoke. 3 touchdown passes. He had the one to McInnes for 40. He had the one to Catoy, and then that one, the catch and the run for Keon Hatcher. Yeah, takes it into the end zone. 6 more for number 4, and the point after, and a 21-6 lead. So Calgary worked back a little closer within a score. Up comes BC's explosive offense again. And that's touchdown number 6 on the year for the CFL's leading receiver, Keon Hatcher. On the return. Just seconds to go until halftime. All the momentum for the BC Lions trying to clinch a playoff spot today.
Well, it started way back inside their own 20. Eberhardt on a corner route. And then it was tempo up on the line of scrimmage. Hurry up offense. Little fake inside and throw. And then the timing on that slant route gave Hatcher a chance to not only catch it in stride, but turn upfield and bust the tackle for a 32-yard touchdown.
6 plays, 95 yards. Touchdown Hatcher. Diedrich Mills. BC's defense again backing up. And we're down to 1 second and 1 play to go until halftime.
I think you take a shot and see if you can either get a deep ball tipped around or possibly a penalty and an extra play. Lions will back off. They've got Hatcher back there as well as McInnes. Try and win jump balls.
Last play, first half. Lions have been dominating. Adams chucks it deep. In a crowd. Knocked down. 21-6 at the half. And BC's offense, led by that man, Nathan Rourke, impressive on several drives, especially that last one. And the use of Javon Catoy as well in this game. He had a great first half.
Yeah, he did. And, you know, he got the offense going. And it was this catch right here, late in the first quarter, that got a first down that led to a Hatcher catch that led to the McInnes touchdown. And then he also contributed in the end zone.
And Javon Catoy now standing by with Farhan.
You had your fingerprints all over this game, especially in the first quarter. You came into this game questionable because of that ankle injury. Tell me about the touchdown.
We practiced it this week. We hit it in practice, you know what I mean? So I was just grateful and lucky that coach trusted me and trusted the play call.
What about just how this offense is rolling and then the importance of that final touchdown drive in the last couple of seconds there?
Yeah, man, for the past couple of weeks, we've been preaching to sustain drives, stay on the field. You know, we had a couple drives in the second quarter that we didn't sustain, stay on the field. So making sure we get the job done at the end of the half is great.
And when you look at your receiving core, you get a touchdown. McInnes gets a touchdown. Hatch gets a touchdown. Eberhard with a big play to set up that last one. Just the completeness of the group and how Nathan's just going to whoever's there.
Yeah, man, everyone's lethal. Everyone's an option. Everyone's a number one receiver. You know what I mean? And we have that mindset every single week. So we're just taking advantage of the coverage and the defense.
Thanks for this.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Javon Catoy with the second of 3 touchdowns for the BC Lions. Lions with a 15-point lead going into halftime. Laura?
Yeah, the Lions showing that practice does make perfect. And boy, does Nathan Rourke enjoy playing against the Calgary Stampeders. 3-0 in his career against them. Almost 250 yards in that opening half. 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. But Lapo, he was not happy with his performance last week. 3 interceptions coming against the Argos, giving the defense credit there. But talk about a bounce back and making some big adjustments, and it's paying off so far.
And you can see really what happens in the second quarter. When this offense gets rolling, playing a bunch of different plays, they lead the CFL in second down conversions. So when they're getting a lot of conversions, you see a lot of different things. You see rollouts, you see some quick passes, play actions, a number of things that you have to go against, and he is so good at locating the football. But here's the thing. Glenn talked about it right before we went to half, is the ability for him to get the ball out of his hand quickly. You see right there, he gets the ball in his hands to his receivers as quickly as possible, and that allows these guys to break tackles, because I think he processes the information as good as any quarterback in the CFL. You see this quick throw. Now, when you get it early as a receiver, you've got a chance to break tackles and score. He is as fast as a quarterback I've seen in a long time, processing information, getting the ball out of his hands, and that's why it's so difficult to go against.
It's been phenomenal to watch this team turn this season around. They started really slow, but the way that they've been playing the last few weeks has been amazing, and especially what they've been doing offensively. Obviously, Nathan Rourke is the guy, but defensively speaking, especially in front of a legend and Solomon Allen, he must be proud watching these guys on defense play. But I want to talk about these sacks. They had 4 of them in the first half already. Deontay Williams blitz off the edge and got to Vernon Adams. You talk about Jonah Tavai. He played really well first half right now. And then I want to talk about Matthew Betts. This guy has been the energizer of this defense. Yeah. And he has been the guy that's really turned things around for this defense. And you can't talk enough about him because the impact is amazing for everybody else to eat as well. So going forward, they're going to be a dangerous team.
What do we just say? They look offsides when they're coming so hard.
So
They
He
look
gets
offsides, but
off
they're
of
getting
that
off.
rocket.
Yeah.
It's amazing
And
to see
Rourke
him do
keeps
that.
saying that this is a balanced team and that we're doing it from all facets, right? Number one offense in the CFL coming into this game, number one defense as well. Milt, on the other side of things, Vernon Adams Jr., and, we asked you your key to the game in our pregame show, and you said it was Vernon versus his confidence.
Yeah. And I won't say he's totally over that, but I can say he made a couple of strides in that first half. Early on, his decision-making, I saw a bad decision being made. It didn't cost him because it didn't result in an interception, but this is a throw. He just can't make that. You just got to eat that one up. But we saw him make some plays, making some quick throws to his receivers, making some long throws down the field, and that's impressive, and that's what he's going to need to do. You see the way Nathan Rourke is out here scoring points? Vernon Adams is going to have to match him because his defense right now can't stop Nathan Rourke. So he's going to have to come out and make some plays. He has to live up to his name, big play VA. Otherwise, they're going to lose their fourth game straight. And you don't want to go to the playoffs on a bad note. There was so much promise for this team. At one point, everyone was saying this was the best team in the CFL, and it's not all on Vernon, but most of it's on Vernon because if your quarterback is playing well, if he's making plays, and I know his offensive line's not helping him sometimes in those things, but he has to come out and just do what he can to help his team win his second half and win the game.
Defense also has to come in and play better. Right. They also have to. No excuses for Vernon, but they have to come and play better.
5 straight games that Vernon hasn't passed more than 250 yards, 112 coming in that first half. Plenty more at the half still to come. We've got highlights from the other games from Week 18 when we come back.
We got everything you want. How do we know the name? We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease. The jungle, welcome to the jungle. I wanna watch you bleed.
Today was football day in Saskatoon at the home of the Saskatchewan Huskies, Griffith Stadium. More than 1,900 youth athletes competed throughout the day in various football games, from tackle to flag football, Lapo's favorite. Members of the first place Rough Riders, Valkyries, and Hilltops made special appearances. Just a great day to celebrate youth football.
Nice.
All right, these are your highlights from Week 18. As the Riders and Red Blacks kicking things off on Friday. Ottawa needing a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. But yep, it's Antoine Brooks. Other ideas here, 85 yards for the pick 6. It was a tough day at the office for Drew Brown. No touchdowns, career high 3 picks, and Dustin Crum in to replace him in the third quarter. And now late in the fourth, that lead down to 10. Riders facing second and goal. Trevor Harris. There goes the football. Bryce Carter.
Get him.
He could go all the. Look at AJ. Yes.
He's going to make
He's not going to make it, guys.
Got him, and a little Peter
That
punch.
is an awesome play by A.J. Ouellette, saving that touchdown. As close as they would get the Red Blacks as
Milt,
the
what's the
Riders.
question?
From
Window or what?
contention.
Window or now.
It's over for Ottawa.
Ticats and Argos, this was our first game of the doubleheader. Arbuckle gets hammered from behind by Joseph Osai. Arbuckle's birthday today, not a happy birthday at
that's
all.
nerdy.
He was slow to get up, headed to the tent, did not return. He was later seen wearing a sling, as you can see, so it was Jarrett Daggy taking over from there. In the fourth, Ticats double digits, it's Bo Levi Mitchell.
Another one.
Kenny Lawler. Again, they love playing the Argos. One of 2 touchdowns on the day for Lawler. Leads the league with 13. Mitchell, 320 to go with 4 touchdown passes. Yep, Dougie. Sending out the congratulations.
He's just a fan, He's just a football fan. We're an Argos
So with
fan.
the Argos and the Red Blacks losing, yes, for the first time since 2019, the crossover has been clinched. So we know Hamilton, Montreal, Saskatchewan all into the playoffs here. BC can clinch a playoff spot as well with a victory here this evening. But let's go back to the 2 teams that saw their postseason hopes dashed this week in Week 18. We've got the Red Blacks, we've got the Argos. Looking ahead to next season, let's start with you, Enoch. Which team do you have more confidence in to bounce back?
I'll go with the Toronto Argonauts. One of the reasons, there's probably going to be a little bit more stability in Toronto. You have options at quarterback as well. You talk about Chad Kelly as well as Nick Arbuckle coming back next year. You have options there, and then there's be a little bit more stability on defense as well. Coming into this season, we didn't even know who a lot of the guys were. So there's going to be probably more stability in Toronto than in Ottawa.
I'm going to say Toronto also because, you know, this is a team that's been in 2 of the last 4 Grey Cups and won them both. So they've got the consistency from winning. I think they do a good job replacing players. I know they had injuries this year, and you're right about having the quarterback in the building and having multiple guys who can play that position. So that's what I think, Toronto.
Clean sweep?
I think so. I
Clean
think so. The foundation will still be there in Toronto. Will the foundation be there in Ottawa? We just don't know. You don't know what it's going to look like, the powers to be, what decisions they're going to make there. You know, in Toronto, you know Ryan Dinwiddie's going to be there. You know Pinball Clemens, man. The CFL will go down before Pinball Clemens get fired. So you know they're going to be there. You spoke of it. They got 2 solid quarterbacks just in case they want to do something. So the foundation is still there in Toronto. We just don't know what it's going to look like in Ottawa.
I mean, they started 2-8 on the season. It was just kind of an uphill battle from there. 2018 was the last time a defending Grey Cup champion failed to make the playoffs the following year, and it was the Argos that year as well. So that is how the cookie crumbles. All right. Meanwhile, back at BC Place, a big day for that man, Solomon Eliminian, getting his number 56 retired by the BC Lions, and he has to like what he's seen so far from that Lions defense. A half away from their 4th straight win, but more importantly, a half away from 2nd place in the West.
Halftime at BC Place, the Lions lead the Calgary Stampeders 21-6. They've had certainly more net offense. Bottom line, 3 scoring drives, all for touchdowns, 2 for Calgary, and just field goals. So they're in a big hole right now for head coach Dave Dickinson, standing by with Farhan.
Dave, you've got to Nathan Rourke 3 times with sacks in this game. He's knocked a couple of passes down, but he still has almost 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. What can you do to slow him down even more?
We got to keep playing, commit to the battle, take a chunk out of them, and see what happens.
What about on the other side with Vernon? He's had some moments. He had the early big completion to Alfred, but how do you get some more consistent offense?
Yeah, we haven't protected very good. They've got just as much pressure and more than we have. First down production, staying out those long yards. We probably had 3 second and 100 yards. So, listen, it's not how we want it to go. We're going to keep battling and see what we do.
Thanks, Vic.
Thanks.
For Vernon Adams Jr. and trying to bounce back the way things have gone the last couple of weeks. 9 of 14, 112 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He was nearly intercepted. Bottom line, though, they haven't really, with the exception of 1 big play to Damian Alford, have not been able to sustain drives long enough to really threaten the end zone.
Well, part of the reason for that is the pressure that they talked about and that first down production that Coach Dickinson just talked to Farhan about. And I think it was a bit of an exaggeration to say, well, a couple times we were in 2nd and 100. Yeah. But I'm sure for that offense, it felt like that.
Lions have been able to get some heat on him. There's Robert Carter. Will be back, one of the 2 back, along with Seven McGee. With BC getting the ball as well. He started the second half. They finished impressively in the first half with a touchdown drive. And here we go. Second half begins at Seven McGee across the 30. And he's stopped a bit by Blackwell at the 35 and then spins around with a flag coming out. Nathan Rourke, almost 250 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in that first half.
But started slowly. I mean, the first couple of drives didn't get much traction at all. A couple of 2-and-outs. That catch by Javon Catoy got things going. Then he opened it up to Hatcher. Following that to McInnes. That was the first touchdown throw. Late in the first quarter, then the first drive of the second quarter, and now the offense is on a roll. 21 points on the board in that first half. But the last time these 2 teams met, Nathan Rourke had 21 points on the board in the first quarter.
Taking advantage of turnovers. By the way, we haven't seen a turnover in this game tonight committed by either team. But yeah, Rourke likes playing against the Calgary Stampeders. Hasn't lost to them in his young career. And good first half for Buck Pierce and the Lions. Said trying to clinch a playoff spot, at the very least a crossover if they get the win. We do know with the Argos losing today, there will be a crossover for the first time since 2019. There's a lot to sort out in the West right now. Rourke throwing, caught by McInnes, and a first down right out of the gate for Justin McInnes, who had a 40-yard touchdown catch in the first half.
Nathan Rourke throws this pass before McInnes comes out of his break and wraps around the linebacker. The timing on that throw, bang on. I mean, he flashes and the ball arrives. 21-yard gain, get him out of the hole.
This Lions team really turning things around after they lost a heartbreaker in Ottawa a month ago in the last minute drive, and they won 3 straight coming into this one. Nothing doing there for Butler. All stuffed up by the Calgary D for no gain after that big pickup for McKinnis. So 2nd and long ahead for BC.
One of the keys to success for Calgary early on in the season was when Arimolade was getting the speed rush and flushing quarterbacks. Didn't matter who they played, just flushing quarterbacks into the middle, and that's where Clarence Hicks and Jalen Hutchings were lined up, and they were cleaning up and getting those sacks and making those plays on the inside. Now that's what they want out of Lorenzo Malden, especially on 2nd downs like this. Here they come.
Flag coming out. The snap of the
Legal
football.
procedure. BC number 59. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
It's one area there Buck Pierce really wants to clean up as they get ready to try and secure a playoff spot first and then try and fight for home field, is to clean up the penalties. 81 yards a game. Too many. It'll grab you in the backside right at the worst time. They're also a -9 coming into this game.
And the turnover ratio. So those are usually 2 very telling stats. That's with a winning record. Trying to add to the win total and work on the run. Oh, to target wide open down the sideline and into the Stampeder zone. Oh, what a game Javon Catoy is having after missing a couple with an ankle injury.
Well, I guess what's surprising with this, first of all, great coverage. It's only 3-man pressure. They're going to drop out of there. Only 3-man pressure, so there should be time for Rourke. But usually when it develops that long, there's a holding call.
Keon Hatcher. Rourke was under pressure. And Rourke is over 300 yards passing. And Hatcher, who had a touchdown in the first half, takes that one down to the Calgary 20.
Going back to tempo, it worked late in the first half. He avoids that rush. And a wide open Keon Hatcher.
Back to Butler on the ground. One thing, Stampeders, well, Butler sneaked through there and gets some yardage. The Stampeders had been doing a good job against the running game.
Too many players on the field. Calgary, this is a 10-yard penalty. It will be 1st down.
Of course, having an extra player on your defense might help a little bit too.
Well, the way that Rourke's played over the back half of the first half and then this opening drive, I guess Calgary thought, you know what do we have to add one? We get. Saw that one player trying to get out. Different personnel set depending on down and distance.
BC opening possession 2nd half, already up by 15 and in position to add to that total now. They have it all the way down to the Calgary 10 and a 1st and 10 here. Rourke ends on touchdown. Hatcher again. His 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. 10-yard strike, and he goes over 100 yards receiving on that catch.
By formation again, Nathan Rourke, this offense is set up so he knows pre-snap where he wants to go with the football, and that's one of the reasons he's getting it out of his hands so quickly, is that by their design, by the setup of the offense, with just Hatcher by himself, the only receiver to that backside, depending on what the defense does, if he gets the one-on-one back there, he's going to the inside route to Keon Hatcher. If there's a halfback stays there and they're playing a zone, he doesn't go there, he goes to the field. He's got numbers. That's easy pre-snap read. Now you still have to execute, and they do.
Well, this Lions offense with a point after Rashawn White looking relentless. Late first half, early 2nd half. That was a 5-play 98-yard drive. Another touchdown pass to Keon Hatcher. 2 weeks ago, BC beat Calgary and McMahon by 29. They've opened up a 28-6 lead, 22 points to start the third quarter. BC Lions opening up their lead. Here's their latest touchdown drive.
Well, he gets things started back deep in his own end, but Nathan Rourke just calm, cool under pressure. It was only three-man pressure. He knew he had time. That time the Stamps try to go with a little more blitz look. He avoids that tackle. And then the slant to Keon Hatcher.
And off the kickoff, it's Eric Brooks with it. It's up to about the 40. As Calgary's in an even bigger hole now, and Tempers flaring a little bit on that. Vernon Adams to the offense coming on, but Nathan Rourke, 4 touchdown passes, 2 to Hatcher. He's over 300 yards passing. And Vernon Adams.
Well, it looked like early on Vernon Adams was going to break out of a little bit of a slump here he's had over the last few games with a big deep ball to Damon Alford. But that Lion defense and that pass rush got to him.
He's only thrown for 112 in this game. Escapes the pocket under heat again. On the run, he keeps it and puts his head down with Micah Awe, the CFL's leading tackler, taking him down after a gain of 7 for Calgary.
Yeah, and I thought late in that second quarter that Vernon Adams was starting to get his head down and his eyes at the rush. And, you know, part of that is because the rush is right in his kitchen. But when it's that close, you're obviously going to look at it. But if he looks at it too soon and he drops his eyes, he's going to take his eyes off the secondary and off what his receivers are doing. And that's what you want defensively. You want the quarterback to look at the rush.
Stampeders offense 0 for 8 on second down. They're facing a 2nd and 3 now. The quick handoff inside to Jalen Philpott, and finally they do convert on a second down for the first time in this game. First down Calgary out across their 50.
Yeah, they did have a drive in that first half where they little plays like this, especially on first down, to get positive yards and allow for Vernon Adams to throw the check down to get a first.
Up to their 51, down 22 points. Early second half. Their first possession of it. On the fake and the throw, it's Clark Barnes with his first catch of this game. And a big first down Calgary as well, down close to the Lions 40.
Jalen Philpott makes a big block on this to get Vernon Adams outside an extra second or two just to let it go and complete that throw.
They work tempo on the first down. Adams steps up, tries to get away, but he is taken down. It's Dwayne Hendricks. So back in the lineup on that BC front, who picks up the sack. One of several for the Lions in the afternoon.
Yeah, getting Dwayne Hendricks back from injury has been as important as the way that Betts has been on a tear with this in the sack department. When you see the work that they do in the interior, him and Tavai stopping the run or controlling the run, but getting that interior pressure it shuts down the escape lanes for Vernon Adams.
2nd and 11. Adams steps up again, throws, open receiver Philpott, and a first down. So here comes Calgary now, impressively working down on this opening possession of the second half to get it inside the Lions 20.
This is what I mean, Rod. See, if you don't have the inside pressure collapsing the pocket in the inside, then Betts can't do his thing on the outside to get around his block to get home because there's an escape lane. And that escape lane turns into a throw to Philpott, but that's Vernon Adams saw it because the interior of that defensive line opened up.
24-yard pickup. Jalen Philpott. The Stampeders trying to get back into this game. They have it down to the BC 18. Down by 3 touchdowns. Adams throwing. Oh, nearly caught by Mills. A little in behind. He would have had it down around the 5. Instead, we've got a 2nd and 10 coming up, Stampeders.
Yeah, this is designed to get a little inside cut as the Lions are still trying to communicate. They weren't set. So this looked like a score. At least a one-on-one tackle between Dedrick Mills and the safety. And just couldn't hang on.
Frustrated Adams what might have been on that play, but here we go in a 2nd down and 10. Stampeders pressing, desperately needing to find the end zone now. Pressure coming. Underneath, no. Tried for Philpott again. And it's incomplete. 3rd down coming up, and the field goal unit is coming on.
Well, the first one to Dedrick Mills on 1st down, that was thrown well by Adams, and this is just a bit behind Philpott. Now, he should have still caught it, but I don't think he's close anyway to that marker. So, blitz coming, right decision to make, but the ball just behind him. If he throws it out in front, he might have a chance to turn the corner.
So Mark Bassett, the holder, will put it down at the BC 25. There's the veteran Rene Paredes, 2 for 2, 3 for 3 in this game, and another field goal for Calgary. They've been trading field goals for touchdowns and not working out well for the Stampeders, who are still down a bunch. And just another beautiful day in Vancouver, BC. We'll be back. At the half here at BC Place, the Lions honored one of the greatest linebackers in the history of the Canadian Football League, Hall of Famer Solomon Elimimian, who's standing by now with Farhan.
Guys, we were talking to the man of the hour here off camera, and he said to me, this is the coolest thing I have ever been a part of. What does this mean to you?
Like I said, it's the coolest thing I've ever been part of. Obviously, I've won a lot of awards, been recognized many times in my career. But being a part of this, having my jersey, my number raised up in front of the world's best fans, a place I called home for 9 years, a great league, world-class athletes. It's the epitome of my career.
You mentioned just all the recognition. Let's take a look at some of these. Look at all these rings, guys. Like, this guy's got a heavy hand at the best of times. Why were you able to accomplish what you have in this league? What led to your success?
Well, obviously, you know, I'm being recognized, but this most by my friends, my family, my teammates, my coaches. I had tremendous support around me. Obviously, my family, you know, being from inner city LA, I was told a lot of times what I couldn't do. And I always had a chip on my shoulder, being undersized, coming from Crenshaw district, and just wanted to prove that I belonged. And Canada gave me an opportunity with the CFL.
I talked to Mike Benavides, the last question I have for you, and he mentioned your first training camp. And right, you were right on the bubble for making this team, undersized linebacker. Just how hungry were you when that opportunity came?
Tremendously hungry. I knew it was my last opportunity. You know, I was at home in LA, living with my mom, and didn't really have a job, but I wanted to play football, and I knew I had to turn it on. And I think it was a hit against Jerome Messam in training camp. And, you know, Messam's, you know, 6'3", 250, and I got a good hit on him, and I think that kind of opened some coaches' eyes.
Well, and look what it did for you here. All the doors that it opened. Congratulations on all your accomplishments this year. Hall of Fame, getting your jersey retired, and for your continued involvement in the CFL.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Farhan, and yeah, congratulations, Solly. Well deserved.
One of the true thumpers at the linebacker position.
That's what Mike Benavides was talking about, too.
I mean,
just the intensity of the hits.
Oh, just.
2nd and 5, shovel pass. Rourke to Hatcher, and just does enough to get another BC first down on the move again.
He's now the president of the Players Association, so stays obviously very much involved with doing what he can to protect the players' rights. And how about that combination here in BC?
They called it Team 100. He wore 56. Adam Bighill with the Lions wore 44. And it added up to one dynamic linebacking core for the BC Lions.
You know, with the evolution of the rules and how it's still maybe one of the most, if not the most physical game on the planet, football in general. But with the evolution of the rules, I was talking to Sully in Hamilton a couple of weeks ago, and I was asking him about the rules and how, you know, especially when it pertains to the quarterback position, and how if you were on a blitz, Sully, how would you feel about, you know, making sure you're in the right target and not being able to hit in the head and all of the things that are going on? He said, I don't think there's any way I could have played right now. Just because he brought it. I mean, and I'm not surprised in the interview with Farhan where he talked about how people said he couldn't, and that motivated him, and he played with great passion, like every play was his last. And I think that trumps talent all the time.
Absolutely. And combined with Bighill, 1,780 tackles, those two teammates for several years. Now this drive continues. It is Butler. James Butler, Markel Lee on the tackle, but another Lions first down. They're across midfield, and they're down to the Stampeder 45.
This is what Paul LaPolice at halftime was talking about. Our coach back in the studio, he said Nathan Rourke recognizes that he's got a wide open back out in the flat, and he takes that play. That turns into a first down and more than 10 yards, and he'll take that every time. How many times have you seen a quarterback have their back open in the flat like that, just on a little swing, and was looking for something more? He wanted a bigger throw, something down the field. He'll take that every time as long as the defense gives it to him.
And Rourke is up to 361 yards passing now, having another big day against the Stamps. And no big play there for Butler. Again, that's one aspect of this BC offense that's been so good, but Calgary has taken away, although other things have certainly slipped through in the 4 touchdowns for BC, but that's Daniel Joseph in on stuffing the run of James Butler.
Yeah, and Jalen Hutchings was in there as well to help with that tackle. And boy, to get Jalen Hutchings going like he was in the first half of the season before he got nicked and then missed a game, I think a game or two, but they were playing complimentary football at that time, and Hutchings was a story in the first half.
Big defensive tackle on the inside of that Calgary defense, swinging it out to Butler, and he gets by Damon Webb, and some good yardage after the catch. Not enough for a first down, but works it down closer inside the Calgary 40 for this third down coming up.
It looked like Godfrey Onyeka took the worst of that friendly fire, and he's going off to get looked at in the tent, I think, or at least by the training staff.
And Sean White coming on, and just that extra yardage picked up on that play by Butler to get it inside the 40 for the veteran Sean White, his first field goal attempt of this game. He is 4 for the point after. 2 for 2 last week. This one is beyond the 46 to add to the Lions total. As White puts it up and puts it through, and now it's 31-9 as the Lions do answer back with a field goal of their own after Calgary had picked up another in the second half. Back to a 22-point lead in a game where that man, 56, had his number retired. Solomon Elimimian, one of the great BC Lions, forever remembered. This is the end of Week 18 in the Canadian Football League. Just 3 weeks of the regular season to go after this, and still lots undecided, including between Calgary and BC. Adams bobbled the ball. More heat on him. Thibaut Debaye is in, and Nathan Cherry as well, and more heat up front for BC. Put a lot of pressure on Adams, in the 6th sack for the Lions in this game.
Well, tough to, when you're comparing the two offenses, and one guy holding the ball back there, a couple of pumps with his hand, he's trying to pat the ball a little bit. And Dominic Rhymes, what is going on with Dominic Rhymes? I mean, open there, but not the time that Vernon Adams needs to get him the ball. I mean, they need to get Rhymes going.
Their leading receiver. Not much in this game. No catches. Deep shot, open, caught, Eric Brooks. That's what Calgary needs. Another big play. And that one gets them down just about the red zone, right around the 20, a 55-yard strike from Adams to Eric Brooks.
Yeah, and Adams stepped up and had a lane to step up into, and that helped. Jackson Finley, the safety, looks like he got caught shallow on that, and Brooks got in behind him.
Stampeders are 0 for 2 in the red zone. They're right at the 20 now. They need a touchdown. Said it again. 4-man rush, and it's for Dominic Rhymes, but it's above him. It heads out of bounds. And 2nd and 10 coming up, late third quarter.
I mean, we are now 14 games in, almost 15. Dominic Rhymes has 4 explosions on the season. That's 30 yards or more catches. I mean, this guy's one of the top route runners, and I know a lot of coaches and quarterbacks that say, well, if the read doesn't take me to Dominic Rhymes, then I'm going to throw the ball somewhere else. I get that, but you can make a receiver your number one read. He's the first guy you look at. If he's not there, you move on.
First time Rhymes has been targeted this game. Knocked at the line of scrimmage. Nearly intercepted. Deflected at the line. Lee, veteran TJ Lee, recently back with BC. The closest to having a shot at a pick. 14 seconds to go and a third down coming up.
Was that Tavai again? I think it was. He's having some fun tonight.
Jonah Tavai saying Calgary can't afford to be kicking another field goal the way this game's gone. And so it is third down and 10 at the 20, and they're going for it. They need a touchdown. Down 22. Down 3 touchdowns. Last play, third quarter. Adams. End zone. Intercepted. For the second straight game, the rookie Jackson Finley has himself a pick. And the Lions, no damage done, take over with a 22-point lead. A flag has come out. We'll sort that out through 3 quarters here at BC Place. Through 3 quarters, Lions after that interception to end the third. Still have that 31-9 lead. Calgary's ready. You look at the numbers, Suits. Stampeders have been able to move the football. They just can't pick up the points to show for it.
Yeah, they've had some pretty good drives in the in the middle of the field, and then they get into plus territory. And you can't blame Dave Dickinson at all when you look at the scoreboard for going for it on third down there and not taking the field goal. But still, they get into scoring zones and then settle for field goals, and you're not going to come back in the game doing that. That's Captain Obvious discussion. But a great play by Jackson Finley in his second start at free safety. Had a real good training camp. Christophe Beaulieu was the starting safety, but when he was hurt, that gave the opportunity to Finley, who has quite the bloodline when it comes to Canadian football. His uncle Brooks, his dad Anthony, his great-grandfather. Am I missing any?
Well, great-grandpa, played for the Lions.
Dad.
You're right, Dad and Uncle too, Brooke.
Brooks was a teammate of mine in Saskatchewan.
There you go, in Saskatchewan. So
and Dad Anthony, great flag football player as well.
What a family, what a football family. Although hockey was a passion for Jackson, till he was convinced to give football a go, and a bad decision. Went to Western, a keen interest too in medicine. Wants to go to med school once his football career is done. A great student at Western, playing for the Mustangs and one of the top defensive players in Canadian university ball. And out of all the teams to draft him, the opportunity to come home and go for the BC Lions with that family history as well. The proud moment for him and for his family. And
another player who got into football through flag football.
There you go.
And for that sport that
Paul Lapalisse is listening.
Absolutely, that is growing rapidly in our country.
Lapo, the head coach of the men's national team. There's Butler. Fourth quarter begins. And that's Godfrey Onyeka after 3 yards. So again, the job overall against the run by Calgary's defense has been good.
I don't know if there's many times where we have said when he's done with football, he's going to become a surgeon or a doctor. I don't think there's many times we've said that. And that's what Jackson Finley wants to do when he's done playing.
Points allowed the last 4 games. Only 9 on the board. Allowed against Calgary in this one, and BC has the ball and it's whistled down.
Yeah,
illegal procedure. BC number 64, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
They've been better, the Lions, in the penalty department, I think, tonight than most nights. We mentioned that's been an issue, and on every one of our Zoom calls, that's where Coach Buck Pierce has said, without being asked about them, we've got to clean up that penalty issue.
Now that's Corey Woodruff, 64, who is normally a guard moving outside because of the injury to Jarrell Broxton. Remember Broxton, one of the top O-linemen in the league, and Deshaun Allen as well with his Argo days. Only played a couple of games. BC, he's expected to be back as well. Intercepted. Anthony Johnson. A big pick for Calgary. Off Nathan Rourke, and Johnson takes it down to the BC 25. So we went the longest time without a turnover. And then Adams threw one in the end zone, and it's Anthony Johnson alertly getting his second interception of the season. Already, Stampeders getting another shot at the end zone.
Nice interception by Anthony Johnson, who's in the right place at the right time, and it looks like an unforced error here by Nathan Rourke. I mean, I'm not sure if he threw it behind Berryhill or just grossly over the head of Keon Hatcher, but maybe it was indecision between the two, not sure. But Anthony Johnson was in the right place at the right time, and that's what Calgary needed to get back in this.
Well, down 22. Say it again. Need a touchdown. We're early fourth quarter now. Already down at the 25. Faking to Mills. Adams looks end zone for Clark Barnes, but too far. Good coverage there by BC. We got a 2nd and 10 coming up for Calgary.
Yeah, really almost double covered on that deep corner. And it's easy to second guess when you're not in the live action and when you've had the pressure Vernon Adams has had throughout this game, but he might have had the out right in front of him underneath for about 10 to 15 yards. Elected to try the deep ball and missed it.
You see the Stampeders 3 for 13 in second down conversions. Not a great game in that department. Big second down now. And 10. The 25. Adams throwing, caught, first down. Dominic Rhymes. Look who it is. You've been saying, where has he been tonight? And only targeted once before, but a big first down.
Yeah, and I've been watching him away from the ball, and he's been open. Now this is probably as covered as he's been with a dropper right there in Ben Haladic, but Vernon Adams maybe his most confident throw with traffic around his receiver on an 18-yard gain.
Once a 1,000-yard receiver here with the BC Lions, Dominic Rhymes. Adams, another end zone look for Burns, touchdown! With good coverage by Robert Carter, Clark Burns hauls it in. 7-yard touchdown. And the first time in this game, Calgary has found the end zone.
Points off turnovers are going to go for 2. Subtle little push by Barnes gets him some separation, and for the record, I don't think that should be called offensive pass interference. I think that should be fine. A little pull by the DB, a little push by the receiver, let it go. Good no call on the field, and Barnes with a touchdown.
So it's a 16-point difference, and they're trying to get it to 14, going for 2 here. 12:02, fourth quarter. After the first Stampeder touchdown of this game, Adams quickly calls his number and gets it into the end zone. Tack on 2 more for the Stampeders, and we've got a 31-17 game and some life for Calgary. After the turnover, the interception by Anthony Johnson, and Adams. Touchdown toss at BC Place. He's done that before, this time for the Stampeders and Clark Barnes.
Heads up play by Clark Barnes here on the simple fade route down at the goal line. He's going to go out and outside and just trying to measure up his defensive back and Robert Carter right there. Just enough to make sure he's got that arm length separation, and then the ball is about to arrive over his shoulder. Good throw by Vernon Adams. Couple of real confident throws by VA in that drive.
That was perfectly placed by Adams. Clark Barnes out of the University of Guelph, one of their top draft picks. A couple of years ago, his 3rd year with the Stampeders.
Onside.
Dribbles down to the 40, and then it heads out of bounds.
Oh, that was onside.
Illegal kick out of bounds. Calgary number 30.
Did he just miss it?
First down, BC.
That was, I don't know if that was an intended pooch kick or just a mistake.
Have another look.
Yeah, it looked like he intended to try and find it into that soft spot there. It's a live ball there, so if one of his guys gets it before it goes out of bounds, they get possession. But I don't know, did he just miss it? Because it doesn't look like the cover team is aware that that was the plan.
Well, it does roll out of bounds, so that is a penalty, and it gives the Lions a great place to start. Up at their 50 now for Nathan Rourke. 367 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. His last throw was intercepted. And running is Xander Horvath, who had the big game filling in for James Butler 2 weeks ago at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, when he ran hard at a 70-yarder, 152 on the day.
Okay, you know what, I'm gonna say it right now. Horvath reminds me of AJ Ouellette. He's at almost has the body of a fullback, but the quick feet to hit the hole and surprise defenders. And you go back a couple of weeks ago, boy, that was his start for Horvath. 152 yards, as you mentioned. And I think a 70-yarder was one of them. But see those quick feet for a guy who looks like he's built like a fullback almost.
Big day. Breakout game and a 9-yard carry, and it's their center, Michael Couture, the veteran. It is Simon Fraser, who is injured and walking off now.
That's a big one, because with Brandon Yates playing at guard and Woodruff bumped out to tackle, Michael Couture was there to help make sure they all knew what their assignments were, to make sure they were together.
Big part of the center's job, not just the physical aspect, but the quarterback and the offensive line too. So Andrew Pearson takes over. He's had some time at center, and that's back to James Butler in a short pickup.
We'll see if Michael can return, because now, I mean, Andrew Pearson can go in, and he's going to help out as well as far as the communication goes. But when we talked to Couture about Yates playing at guard, he was telling us how he was.
After the play was over, major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 51. We're going to go back 15 yards and a first down for BC.
Well, 51 is Michael Couture's number, who was injured on the play before.
So he was out. Yeah, that was Riley Pickett, number 45.
So Pickett, the fullback, looks like the one who's actually flagged there. And we still do see Andrew Pearson in at center for BC for Michael Couture. Bottom line, 1st and 10, BC 46, Butler. And again, they wrap him up. It's Jalen Hutchings, the big defensive tackle, for no gain. 2nd down ahead.
Yeah, he's quietly had a pretty good game here for Calgary. I've seen him on a couple of these first down run plays. Lee, first of all, filled the gap, I think, that James Butler wanted to hit, and that forced him outside into the arms of Jalen Hutchings.
Stampeders defense overall holding BC to 41 yards rushing. Down 14 points. Pressure coming. Markel Lee is in, and Rourke gets away. Nathan Rourke on the run and a first down, and slides at the 45 for Calgary. And we've seen Rourke work his magic before when he decides to take off, and he has 18 more yards there.
Markel Lee is getting involved with the interior of the D line on a twist, and that twist, now he gets really wide, almost like there were 2 defenders in the same gap, Miles Brown and Lee. And when you get that and there's an open escape lane, the leading rusher at the quarterback position is going to take it, and smart to slide after first down is attained.
We saw a great run by Nathan Rourke 2 weeks ago in Calgary. Part of that performance, a rushing touchdown. See, Michael Couture is back in at center for BC. The Calgary 46, 1st and 10. Off to the right. Not much there. And Stanley Berryhill and Damon Webb in on Berryhill.
Yeah, so Couture's back in at center. And when we talked to him this week, we asked him, so what's this is two days before game time. And we said, so what's up now? He's going out for something to eat, and he goes, no, I'm going in with Brandon. We're gonna look at game film.
Yeah.
Get prepared and get ready, because we got a young guy in there. We want to make sure get all the calls right. They've only given up 15 sacks coming into this game.
And they've had to make adjustments with injuries too. Well, nearly sacked there. It's intercepted again. Micah Tights. Rourke was under pressure, got rid of the ball, and Calgary's defense rises up again. First you had the Johnson interception this half that led to a Stamps touchdown. Next, pressure, and Rourke is picked. Micah Tights has it. Calgary football down 2 touchdowns.
Well, the last interception to Anthony Johnson looked like an unforced error by Nathan Rourke. This one to Micah Tights is a forced error. When you get the pressure from Miles Brown coming in, and Rourke now tries to just make something happen with a check down to his back, James Butler. But because of the pressure pulling him down, that ball sails into the hands of Micah Tights.
Went to school at the University of Calgary, had several years with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Adams off the turnover, completes it to Eric Brooks. They had a big play in the third quarter. Close to 10-yard pickup. See what Adams can do now after the turnover.
Fighting the Lions and the clock now. All the plays on the line of scrimmage.
11-yard pickup now and a first down halfway through this fourth quarter. Calgary ball faking to Mills, rolling to the right is Adams, and throws it off. It's low for Rhymes and incomplete.
That's a great angle. I think it was Micah Alway that ended up getting secondary contained to make that a tough throw for Adams. In other words, not allowing him to get out and around the corner so he could get his shoulders square.
Stampeders come into this game having lost 3 straight. Still second in the West, but barely, by winning percentage at 8-6. The Lions and the Blue Bombers are at 8-7. Adams. Oh, had to thread the needle there, and it's caught. Jalen Philpott. Tight coverage. Adams barely had time to get rid of the football, and it's a gain of 18, another first down.
Inside, that third receiver is going to run the deep curl right at the 43-yard line. Beats the DB to the football.
Down to the BC 42 now, and a 1st and 10 Calgary. Dedrick Mills up the middle. Lots of room. Still going. Finally tackled by Patrice Rene, but he gets it inside the 25. 19 more yards. Here comes Calgary again after the turnover.
Yeah, the momentum is so important in games, and it can swing back and forth, and it only takes a couple of plays, a turnover by Anthony Johnson, and all of a sudden, all the momentum with Calgary.
It has really swung to the Stampeders now here in the 4th. They run a draw to Mills. Another good carry by Dedrick Mills. Down inside the BC 12. Another first down after an 11-yard gain.
Substitutions being made on defense by Mike Benavides as Vernon Adams trying to call these on the line of scrimmage. Going to have to hustle.
VA has the Lions on their heels now. Looking to the end zone. Oh, coverage there. Ronald Kent in on Brooks. It was close. It falls incomplete, and a flag is down.
Yeah, I wonder if the Lions were even set up. May have had too many men or on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage trying to get a substitution in.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside. BC. That penalty is declined. Too many players on the field. A 10-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Yeah, I won't even count them all because I think there's like 3 too many. But you see the offside comes because they're trying to substitute. Always trying to get out there, and he was on the wrong side before the snap.
So it moves the ball up. Inside the 10, just inside the 7-yard line. We get a first and goal, Calgary. Already have a touchdown of one of their interceptions. This drive starting after their second interception in this game. Trying to get back in this game. Blitz coming. Adams gets rid of it. End zone, no! Reaching up for it, Jalen Philpott. Kent was there, just a little bit high. Was able to get his fingertips on it, but not enough to get the football, and we got a second and goal ahead.
With full pressure coming from the Lions, it was sort of a retreating throw from Vernon Adams. He was backing up, kind of fading away from this throw. Wasn't quite as accurate as he'd like to be because Philpott was open on that slant, on that post. He was open at the back of the end zone. He just barely missed it.
Fourth quarter. 5.5 minutes to go. Calgary trailing by 14. Second and goal to the BC 7. Adams, 4-man rush. Underneath, caught by Barnes. He gets it down to the 5. They only get 2 yards on that. Gary Peters with the ball in his hand saying it's his. But bottom line, it's a third and goal ahead here for Calgary.
Crossing route.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Gary Peters ended up with it. He thought it was a catch and fumble. They're calling it incomplete. Third down.
Now for the second time in this half, they're going for it on third. Last time it didn't work out. They got tired of just kicking field goals when they were getting deep in the zone. They put more time on the clock.
Plus, the field goal still makes it 2 possession. So, might as well take a shot this deep.
From the 7. What a moment here. Stampeders either turn it over or they get right back in this game down just to score. Here we go. Adams, third down. End zone. Touchdown. Dominic Rhymes. Their leading receiver has it. It took a long time before he was even targeted. But he's had a couple of big catches. That one, pending the point after, has Calgary right back in this game down within a touchdown.
Yeah, this offense had to activate 15. To be successful and to get this offense rolling, they have to get this guy involved. He's a smooth route runner. He knows the game. He knows where the holes are. Secure hands, can blow the top off coverage. One of the top players in the league. You got to get him going.
Dominic Rhymes and a touchdown for Calgary. 14 points off the turnovers. 2 picks, 2 TDs as this offense, led by Vernon Adams, is waking up. 5th touchdown catch of the season for Dominic Rhymes, the ex-Lion, to cap off a 9-play, 71-yard drive.
Watch the route here from Dominic Rhymes. Safety in the middle. I think it was Jackson Finley who went to play the ball and just missed it. And if you're Ronald Kent, again, we've talked about that leverage, and you have to play outside, protecting the outside, because you got a safety in the middle. If you have a safety in the middle, you take the outside leverage at halfback. That's what Ronald Kent did, expecting Finley to be there. Finley went for the ball and not the player. And when he missed the ball, Rhymes, with great concentration, pulls it in.
So you got Vernon Adams to Dominic Rhymes here at BC Place. I'm sure Lions fans remember seeing that a few times.
Yeah.
When they wore the black and orange, both former Lions.
And just like that, it's one possession.
So 15 points, off the turnovers. Of course, the last touchdown at a 2-point conversion by Vernon Adams. So 31-24, BC's 22-point lead has just been disappearing, and it's down to 7 now. Stampeders right back in this game. 4:46 on the clock. What a finish we could have in store here at BC Place. See what the Stampeders defense can do this time. It's 7 McGee. Nice moves on the return for McGee to get it up to the 48 of the Lions.
That's big to grab just a speck of momentum back. But let's go back to the touchdown one more time. And Vernon Adams barely missing. I wonder if the commissioner's watching this one, because he barely misses the crossbar on that deep post.
Not a concern in a couple of years with the goalpost moving back, but yeah, he did thread the needle. He's done that a couple of times in this game and just missed the crossbar. So Nathan Rourke getting challenged now after just terrific first half and spilled over into the start of the third quarter. But since then, BC's offense has been cooling off. Rourke has thrown a couple of interceptions to go along with his 4 touchdown passes. Throwing there, incomplete. Down low for Hatcher. Up at the Stampeder 50. Second down ahead.
A little surprised on that call from Buck Pierce to not sort of settle things down with a little bit of a run game to James Butler. Intermediate deep curl route to Keon Hatcher is, not a bad choice. If it's
worked out a lot in the past.
Yeah, but it's worked out a lot this year for sure.
And Nathan Rourke suits 1 for 5 and 2 interceptions recently. So yeah, trying to get some momentum back for BC. Under 4 minutes to go. Deep look, too far. Coverage there as well. Damon Webb coming across to help out. Intended again for Hatcher. And the 4th 2-and-out for the BC Lions. Stampeders down 7, about to get the ball back.
Nathan Rourke is limping coming off. And I don't know if he got stepped on or there's something. It might have been on first down because it looked like he was on first down. Yeah, that's the second down throw to Hatcher that Webb had a better chance at it than anybody. On first down, though, I think he got stepped on. Right? No, that wasn't it either. That was the second down throw on the corner, but there's him limping off. Keep an eye on that.
The punt here from Carl Meyer for Derek Brooks at the 10 after a 52-yarder. And cutting it up. Jackson Finley among those on the special teams tackle, shy of the 15 for the Stampeders. So they have a long field ahead, but they certainly have a shot now with 3.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, trailing only 31-24.
The good news for Lions fans is that Rourke didn't go in the 10.
Look at that stat. 42 of 68 games this season. This has been the year of the comeback, hasn't it?
Outstanding. Don't leave your seats early.
Getting close to the magical 3 minutes where so much happens.
Well, the timing of the final 3 minutes is one of the reasons that previous stat happens. Maybe the main reason.
The right hash at the 15. Adams knocked at the line and incomplete. The hands went up again on that BC defensive front and batted away. Second down and 10 coming.
I think that was Dwayne Hendricks. Saw him.
Calgary.
Saw him come out of off the sideline. See, he just times it up and gets that right hand after the bull rush. Coming off the sideline, he was jumping up and down like he couldn't wait to get out there. Big down here.
3:08. Stampeders 5 of their last 8 now. Started 0 for 8.
PA just talked to Dom Rhymes. Got him to start on the wide side.
Big second down, Calgary. Just a 3-man rush. Almost got to him, though. He takes off. Trying to get that first down, and he does. And then pushed out. Patrice Rene there, but a good run for Vernon Adams. Timely, too, and a first down for the Stampeders. Hasn't used his legs as often this time around. Needed it this time and gets it. We'll be back next week. WestJet Thanksgiving weekend. Argonauts playing the Stampeders to get it started, but look at that sketch. So much undecided. And hey, that's Thanksgiving weekend. Actually kind of starts with the Gravy Bowl here today, because this is BC's last home game before Thanksgiving. So this tradition against Calgary, they're getting started. 3rd annual. What a finish. to Week 18. We could have here Calgary football after Adams ran for the first down, and then Dedrick Mills takes it and tries to grind his way up near the 40.
Nice fourth quarter runs from Dedrick Mills in this comeback attempt for the Stampeders. Big part of the reason for it. It forces the defensive line to hesitate a split second if they got to check for the back first.
These two teams at 8 wins. Calgary's played one fewer game. And it's a running play to Jalen Philpott. Right side, gets it up across the 45, and a first down. Philpott running for Calgary.
So the D-line is going to check here. That's Dedrick Mills, and then they say, okay, well, if you do that and you're aware of 26, we'll give it to the other guy. Give it to Jalen Philpott.
Screening it up to Mills, turns it upfield, gets it to about the 48, maybe a couple of yards here for the Stampeders. 2:14 to go, 7 points behind, but so much closer.
Nice hustle from Josh Woods, make this tackle.
Crowd picks up at BC Place. Pump fake, deep shot to the right. Tevin Jones was open, but coming back for it was Robert Carter. Perfectly timed to pick it off. And this time, it's Vernon Adams who's intercepted.
Robert Carter drops his man to fall underneath this corner route. There's going to be an out over here and then a corner. And Carter is in charge of that deeper out. There it is by Rhymes here. But he says, forget that one. I'll give you that one. I'm going for the deep one. He drops out of his responsibility. Vernon Adams, of course, doesn't count him because he's expecting him to stay up on Dominic Rhymes, and he cuts underneath the corner. He can't believe it.
That's the third interception of the season for Robert Carter. We might remember the last time he had a pick. It was back in Week 7.
Remember for a long time. We'll remember for a long time.
We'll never forget it. Yeah, that was his last one. Was the one-hander in the end zone off Bo Levi Mitchell. Incredible one-handed catch. But celebrating that one now as the Lions take over for Nathan Rourke at the BC 30, protecting a 7-point lead, cutting back on that run, but still not getting much is James Butler.
No, but it's a clock eater, and it's a positive play. I mean, the Lions have to settle things down on offense. 2 picks in a row, and then a 2 and out, and a punt. You just need a couple of first downs and settle down. Another pick by Carter. That ties Gary Peters for the league lead, or for the team lead, I should say.
Got his third out of Robert Morris University in Pittsburgh. Going to swing this momentum back for BC in a 2nd down and 7. Rourke up underneath, it's caught, and a first down and more for Butler. Dean Grant chasing him down, finally tackles him on the biggest play of this game for Butler. He gets it down to the Calgary 30.
And one of his best catches of the year. I mean, this is a tough catch because Nathan Rourke sees him at the last second and puts a lot of heat on this throw, and Butler wasn't that far away from him. He steps into it, and Butler kind of has to snag it. Then he's outside of everybody's leverage, and away he goes for a 44-yarder.
As Nathan Rourke goes over 400 yards passing with that play, down to the 33, BC. If they can make it a 2-score game this late, barely a minute to go, and that'd do it.
Horvath and Butler in there together.
Xander Horvath. Long throw again! Down 5! Touchdown! How about Xander Horvath when he plays against Calgary? Got some power and speed. Had a touchdown against the Stamps 2 weeks ago. Gets number 2 here in this game.
Good kick out block by Corey Woodruff, the left tackle, opens up a nice hole, and Horvath finds it.
Well, the Stampeders made it interesting, but BC's essentially put this one away. The point after try for Sean White. Tucks it in. 14-point lead restored for BC. On the verge of improving to a record of 9-7 and winning their 4th straight game.
Watch that left tackle. Wiley was the defensive end. He's kicking out on that play, but boy, he opens up that hole. And Horvath has some speed. You know, the strategy for BC there is a couple of running plays, kick a field goal, make it a 2-possession game. Well, let's scrap that plan for a touchdown run off the left side.
Well, I mean, you got one of the top running backs in the league is James Butler, had been leading the way in yardage. And Calgary had done a pretty good job against Butler this time around, but that's an interesting 1-2 punch on the ground for the Lions, isn't it?
And I asked Buck Pierce last week about this, and could you get them both on the field a bunch at a time? And he just kind of smiled, didn't want to give away any information at all about the playbook, but he gave me kind of a smile and was like, oh yeah, there's things we can do.
And there's a head coach too, Buck Pierce, that likes to run the football.
Oh yeah.
Going back to his days with Winnipeg when had Andrew Harris and of course Brady Oliveira. Bit of running a touchdown there, and Brooks on the return, but 54 seconds only, and a 2-touchdown lead restored for BC. It looks like these streaks are continuing. The Lions looking at their 4th in a row. Josh Haggerty and the special teams tackle, but Calgary facing a 4-game losing streak now after that brilliant start where they won 5 of their first 6 games.
One play defensively by Robert Carter is the difference maker, because all the momentum with Calgary, they're driving 15 points off 2 quick turnovers. It's a 1-possession game, and Carter turns that all around with a 1 play.
Completely turned it around. Here's Adams now. And throwing it caught by Barnes, gets out of bounds. 49 seconds on the clock. TJ Lee's there. Calgary made this interesting, and turnover's a big part of that after they had a couple of interceptions, both leading to touchdowns. They got close, but VA picked off Robert Carter, and quickly the Lions go down the field and make them pay. And the Birds are moving into 2nd place. Flags out. That one, no. Not caught, intended for Philpott. Due to a flag with the snap of the ball.
2nd place will have obviously the season series against Calgary.
Offside. BC number 96, 5-yard penalty. We're going to replay 1st down.
Saskatchewan won last night.
So I promised you I'm not going to get into all kinds of speculation. I'm not going to do that because, frankly, I don't even understand still some of the possibilities. BC, though, does clinch a playoff spot, and they're 2nd right now at 9-7 in the West. And Adams throwing there, and it is caught, but Academic now 38 seconds on the clock. But in those standings, Calgary with 4 straight losses fall into a tie with Winnipeg, and they still do have the tiebreaker, the season series against the Bombers, so they would be 3rd.
Calgary.
You see, they're 3rd, and Winnipeg
is
4th, and we do know there will be a crossover in Winnipeg and Edmonton. The Elks aren't done yet.
That's what I mean. I was just about to do this as you were doing the math on all of it and say that they're not done yet. Toronto and Ottawa are. They're out. But Edmonton still has a chance to climb back into it.
At home against the Bombers next week. How about that?
There you go.
So fate in their hands, at least next week for the Edmonton Elks, knowing they need to beat Winnipeg. So much undecided. That's all we can tell you. That for now, BC goes into 2nd, and they have indeed. With this victory, the Lions do clinch a playoff spot. They can do no worse in the crossover game. Big heave. Intercepted again. Why not? Robert Carter. So he gets interceptions number 3 and 4 of his rookie season, all in the same quarter. And that's, well, officially snuffs anything out here. And the turnover battle, and neither team had turned it over for the longest time in this game, but all 5 were interceptions. Rourke had thrown a couple, got Calgary back in the game, and now Adams has thrown 3.
Yeah, this one, you know, is desperation time, and he throws it up to Damon Alford to maybe win a jump ball. But, you know, with that much time, almost impossible. But that the Carter previous interception tonight, that was the difference maker.
Huge. And now when we look back to Jackson Finley, when Calgary felt earlier in the half they had to go for it on a 3rd and 10 from the 20, and Adams was intercepted on that play. And Finley's second pick of his rookie season. So victory formation. And a sweet victory for the BC Lions, beating Calgary, winning the season series, sweeping the Stampeders, and winning the Gravy Bowl heading into Thanksgiving week. And yeah, going opposite ways as the streaks do continue. Lions are surging, and Stampeders really falling back.
Yeah, and if you take a look, I mean, I know Nathan Rourke is going to say there were 2 plays in there that he wants back for sure. But Calgary, you know, I saw a lot of good throws from Vernon Adams.
Yeah.
And in this discussion about him coming back, Calgary's going to go as far as Vernon Adams takes him. It's as simple as that. And that's no disrespect to any of the backups in that position. But if they want to take a run, it's going to be because Vernon Adams gets his game back. And I saw signs of it tonight.
And Calgary by no means out of the mix, still very much in the playoff mix. They just have not clinched a spot, but the BC Lions have. After their 4th straight win, Nathan Rourke, explosive start in the first half. He had 4 touchdown passes in this game, and then threw a couple of picks as momentum swung back in favor of Calgary. And Buck Pierce, his first year as the head coach of the BC Lions, and they know they're playoff bound. At this point, with just a couple of games to go, still a lot undecided exactly what position they will finish. So how about the day overall of Nathan Rourke?
Well, yeah, I mean, but for 2 plays, one a forced error, one an unforced error, he threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And that was after a real slow start. I mean, it wasn't until the final drive of the first quarter that the offense got going here in BC. And then once they did, they were on a roll for most of the game. And then again, you know, we talked to him on the sideline right now. I guarantee he says, there's 2 plays I want back. And we got to clean those up. He's looking at him right now. That's the work that he puts in. But credit to the defense, too. They're allowed to win occasionally. Calgary made a couple good plays there.
And Rourke and the Lions get to head into next week, Thanksgiving weekend, with a bye. They get to enjoy their Thanksgiving dinner. And Keon Hatcher as well, especially in the first half, was what the leading receiver for the Lions was able to do.
Well, he just has become so consistent and reliable, and the big plays. I mean, the one where he scored on the touchdown, I mean, it was like their timing so good. He catches it in stride right where the ball needs to be. In other words, if that ball's a little bit behind him on that touchdown there, he has to stop, catch it, and then probably gets tackled. But he hits it in stride, turns the corner, and the defenders can't get him down. So, I mean, this is another big game for Ford.
Yeah, 4 straight wins. BC Lions, as mentioned, they get the bye, and they get to enjoy their Thanksgiving dinner next week. Assume they'll have a different turkey for that. But this is you can't have this for BC without the Gravy Bowl first. And this is the 3rd annual one against the Stampeders, their last home game before Thanksgiving, and about to celebrate by carving up a bird. I don't know why I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah.
I got to wait. Are you telling me I got to wait a week? I tell you what, we're in Montreal next week for the Owls and the Red Blacks, and we get to carve our turkey then.
I'll tell you what, though, there was a very hungry sort of pause when we saw that shot of the turkey.
I was just kind of stopping and considering that what I was looking at there.
Okay, regroup.
Yeah.
Let's throw it to Farhan.
Yeah, let's go, Farhan.
All right, guys, we got a hungry group of players here. We got Andrew Pearson, Keon Hatcher, James Butler. Hatch, actually, let's start with you. And just over 100 yards in this game, 2 touchdowns, including a big one that gave yourselves a bit of distance in the third quarter. Just talk a bit about the offense, especially for the first 3 quarters.
Locked in, man. Came out to play. We know we had a job to get done, and we came and did it.
How about you, James? Take me through that last reception. Calgary had some momentum. It's 2nd and long, and you make the play and take it deep into their end.
Yeah, man, I got told 12. Thank you for trusting me on that play, you know what I'm saying? And shout out Justin, who really sprung me on that play. So that was just a team effort.
12 is here now. I know you're going to be more upset about the fourth quarter, but I'm going to ask you about the first 3. 367 yards and 4 touchdowns. You were humming. What was working?
The guys around me, we got a great supporting staff. I think Buck called it really well. We just got to limit the mistakes down the stretch. It's a very good team in Calgary, but it was a great team win, so happy for it.
All right, listen, you got to celebrate. Grab a turkey leg. Let's go.
Somebody help me out. Pull it.
Josh Woods, Gary Peters, they're trying to find some potatoes. Now that's some serious turkey.
Is it good? No. Get on the other side of that thing. Just the meat. It ain't bad. It ain't bad for
Rod, I'm hoping that we have a little bit left for you and Glenn before we're done here.
I'm not liking our chances, Farhan. Thank you for that. As the Lions devouring victories too of late. That's 4 in a row to get to 9-7, and that improves them to 2nd place in the West. 2 wins behind the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but playoff positioning in the West anything but decided. This is all we can tell you as a result of today. The BC Lions are playoff bound. They sweep their season series against the Calgary Stampeders. It certainly made it interesting until well into the fourth quarter. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. True Thanksgiving weekend. Thanks for watching the Gravy Bowl.
All right, as SportsCenter rolls on, Jermaine and Nikki still here with you. Welcome in our viewers who are watching Stamps and Lions. Perfect timing as we switch gears to the CFL Double Dipper on Saturday night, Jermaine. But let's begin with the Ticats and Argos. Ticats have already punched their playoff berth. Want to keep momentum to get, positioning and whatnot, but the Argos are just hoping to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, the Argos, they have the slimmest of playoff hopes, but leave it to their arch rival, the Ticats, to stomp on it and then squash it.
And then
some. Ticats, Argos hosting the future football game following their partnership with the Buffalo Bills. Former Bill, Jim Kelly, and Doug Flutie both in attendance. They could have used them. The Argos needing a win to stay in playoff contention on their opening drive down 3-zip. Nick Arbuckle sacked by Philip Osai. The ball comes out and the Ticats recover. And Arbuckle injured on the play. He left the game and did not return. Ryan Dinwiddie saying post-game that Arbuckle's season is likely over. On the ensuing drive, Bo Levi Mitchell to Kenny Lawler. Lawler's 12. It's 10-zip. Then later in the quarter, Hamilton adds on.
Great ball skills so far this season as Mitchell looks right, comes back left, running free, Brendan O'Leary, orange. It's an absolute moonshot, and all the way is Brendan O'Leary orange.
Mitchell to Brendan O'Leary orange is the new black for the 87-yard TD, his 3rd of the year. It's 17-0. Jarrett Dagey replaced Arbuckle, and second quarter now 25-6. Dagey thrown off the hands of Mackay Pope, and Stavros Katsatonis comes up with the interception. Dagey threw 4 picks in the game, 3 of them to Katsatonis. Ouch. 3 plays later, Mitchell looking end zone, and O'Leary orange hauls it in for his 2nd touchdown of the game, his 4th of the year. Ticats up 23 at the half. Then in the 4th, now a 10-point game. Mitchell goes deep, and he finds Lawler for his 2nd TD of the game. Oh, what's old is new again. 7 of Lawler's 13 touchdowns have come against the Argos. The Mitchell High-fiving Argo legend Flutie on the sideline. Ticats, take it.
Touchdown of the season for Kenny.
Is it a troll job a little bit during the game to go over to an Argos legend and kind of let him know how good you're playing?
No, I mean, I just got here and somebody told me Doug was here, Jim was here, and I was like, well, we're putting the ball out on the field then. Let these guys go out there and make some plays, man.
With Arbuckle, do you know the extent of the injury so far? His shoulder, clavicle?
Yeah, we don't know exactly what it is. He's got to get some imaging done, right? Looks like his season's probably going to be over. Unfortunately, it happened that early. I feel for Nick. He was, trying to make a play early on, and we lose him there. It's tough, man, but I'm proud of Nick's performance all season.
Let's keep it moving. Stamps and Lions, a big one for the West Division standings. The winner takes over sole possession of second place in the division with 3 weeks left in the regular season. Late first quarter, BC trailing 3-0. Nathan Rourke looking deep for Justin Guinness, and he's got him. 40-yard touchdown. The Lions come in having won 3 straight with Rourke averaging over 300 passing yards in those games. The long TD pass puts them up 7-3. Second quarter, BC looking for more. Rourke floats one over to Javon Toy, and he makes a nice grab for the touchdown. Rourke with his second TD pass of the half. He had 5 total touchdowns 2 weeks ago against the Stamps. BC up 14-3 in a hurry. They weren't done. Now 14-6 just before the half. Rourke finds Keon Hatcher. He breaks a tackle and goes 32 yards for the TD. Rourke 248 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half as the Lions offense, they keep rolling. They're up 21-6 at the break. Let's jump to the fourth quarter. Now 31-17, BC Rourke under some pressure, and he gets picked off by Micah Tights. After that great start for Rourke and the Lions, he throws his second interception of the half. Calgary can take it the other way and make it a one-score game. They're on the doorstep. Brendan Adams Jr. looking for Dominique Rhymes, and he's got him. The 2 former Lions combined for the score. Somehow, this is only a one-score game. Next Stamps possession, still only down 7. Adams looking for the deep ball, but he's picked off by Robert Carter. Oh, Mr. Carter. The Lions defense comes up huge after the Stamps made it close. BC wins their 4th straight, 38-24. So here's a look at the CFL playoff picture. The Lions clinching a postseason berth for the 4th consecutive season. The Argos and Red Blacks are now both eliminated, which means the 4th place team in the West will cross over for the first time since 2019. With more, here's Laura Dykin.
Join alongside Enoch Mwamba, Paul LaPolice, as well as Milt Stiegel. So on Saturday, in the doubleheader to wrap up Week 18, we saw 2 of the frontrunners for MOP in action. Bo Levi Mitchell, who did it again to the Argos, and Nathan Rourke, who did it again to the Stampeders. So the question is, Enoch, which quarterback was more impressive to you?
I'm going to go with Nathan Rourke. Nathan Rourke was absolutely impressive. 400-plus yards passing in a game against a defense that is, you got to talk about this Calgary defense that played really well in the beginning of the game, but he was able to find ways, find holes, and even when they put pressure on him, he was still able to evade the rushes. And you look at the performance that he had. Yes, he had 2 interceptions, but you obviously don't want to see going forward. But this man put on a show, and having a guy like this brings so much confidence to his team. And going forward, if he plays like this, minus the interceptions, this is going to be a dangerous team going forward for sure. And Bo Levi Mitchell, when you look at his performance, it's against the Toronto Argonauts. So it's hard to kind of judge it. This is a team that's not making the playoffs this year. So I'd have to give it to Nathan Rourke tonight.
You know, Bo Levi did have 4 touchdowns, but I think I agree. I'm going to go with Nathan Rourke also. And, like, just watching his ability to attack the defenses and make sure, like, he gets the ball in his hands quick as anybody I've seen. And then he starts fast. The BC Lions scored touchdowns early, and all of a sudden everybody's trying to play catch-up against the BC Lions. So Nathan Rourke, I think, it was spectacular today. You do have some issues with interceptions, but I think his ability to, teams are just trying to play catch-up because he's all over him from the start of the game and go. And the other thing he does, like you said, he's got the ability to run, use his legs, and create. to make plays. So Nathan Rourke for me.
But both of these guys didn't have the games they would desire last week. So both of them needed to bounce back, and they both did bounce back. But I think the bigger and better bounce back came with Bo Levi Mitchell. And I say that because last week against Winnipeg, they scored what? 3 points, straight points. And this week, they scored 47 points. I know you're saying against the Toronto Argonauts, but these still are professional athletes, Enoch. Those still some of your former teammates that you're talking about. But it was 47 points. So for me, the bigger and better bounce back had to be Bo Levi Mitchell. Shout out to Nathan Rourke for having a bounce back. Did a great job, but I think Bo Levi Mitchell had the better bounce back, so that's who it is for me, LD.
That's a lot of B's.
A lot of B's. Ooh, watch out there now.
And Enoch's going to be getting a lot of angry text messages from his former teammates.
Out or window.
That's it. That's what they had on their mind.
Well, good news for CFL fans because we'll be seeing both Bo Levi Mitchell and Nathan Rourke in the playoffs with the Lions getting the win on Saturday over the Stamps. They have clinched a playoff spot.
And new on SC, Lions QB Nathan Rourke. He had 414 yards and 4 TDs.
Nathan, big picture first, 4th straight win. You clinch a playoff spot. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, all we're trying to do with this group is to just get another week with each other. Buck has been harping on that ever since we got into this stretch of the season, and that's what we're playing for. We're playing for each other and just trying to get another week where we can play football with each other.
You look at the first 3 quarters of this game, and the offense was dominant. You got everybody involved. Touchdowns to Katoy, McInnes, 2 to Hatcher. Is that what makes this offense special, is just the ability to go to everybody?
Yeah, I don't think we have a weak link, right? You know, I think when we're humming, we're doing what we know we're capable of doing. We can go to anybody. We can be very, very balanced. We can do it on the ground like we did at the end. We can finish games. I think when we can do that and play complementary ball, put our defense in good positions, I think we're going to be tough to beat.
I want to ask you about the 4th quarter, and I know you're probably going to have some passes you want back, but I look at your second interception, and I look at the play to Butler for 44 yards, and I see a lot of similarities in both. And sometimes to be the player you are, you might need to take some risks. Can you see the comparisons there?
Yeah, I think I get what you're going for there. Yeah, I mean, it's just a simple play. You know, obviously some pressure and things happen, you know, and against teams like this, you hope that they don't, but it's about how you respond, and I think we responded well and finished a game that, you know, got a little bit too close there for us.
Mid-season, you might have blown this game. What's different now in that room that allows you to hang on?
You know, I think early on, we knew that we were capable of doing things like this. We haven't, our process hasn't really changed. We're just going about our business with the right energy. We're trying to execute at a high level, and you know, I think it's coming together. So you're seeing on the scoreboard a little bit more, but I don't think we're doing anything too different. We're trusting each other, we're trusting the system, and good things are happening.
Thanks for this, Nate.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming up, qualifying drama in Singapore. After costing him a potential pole position, Max fires a warning shot at Lando Norris.
Yeah, that's what happens when there's a car in front of you just cruising 2 seconds in front. So that's noted, will be remembered as well.